Welcome everyone to the Real Whovians cast. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Ray. What's up, Ray?
What's up, everyone?
What's going on, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Hanging in. So, you saw Joy to the World. I never got your review of it. What did you think?
Wasn't one of my favorite Christmas specials. I'll put it there.
I hated it.
It was
Yeah.
one of them that. It was one of them that seemed like Moffat was just written like he wrote it, but he didn't look like he enjoyed writing it. If you know what I mean.
He just did it because he had no choice. Like he got asked in the last minute, and Russell was busy, and he's like, "Could you do me a favor?" Which is true.
Yeah. I mean, it's like one of them where he just didn't enjoy writing it because he was rushed on it, and it's like not a good thing, you know. If he didn't have it, if he wasn't rushed, I think if he wasn't rushed, we would have seen a better, episode from him, like Twice Upon a Time, stuff like that,
Right. I don't know, man. I sort of was against the whole time hotel thing because being that he's a time lord, they wouldn't really like people doing time travel stuff. So, but I don't know. It's just odd because there's too many chances of a paradox with the time hotel. But I guess I didn't like the whole no
The only
explanation
thing
how he
I,
got the number.
The only thing I can think of is that he didn't think too much of the time hotel because he's going to be revisiting it at some point.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know why. But okay. I guess there's going to be a thing to it, maybe. I mean, someone could always use it. A villain.
Do you think about it? Normally, those kind of things where they don't pick up on it straight away, we normally revisit them.
Like I said, in the wrong hands.
So I'm hoping that we do revisit it at some stage, and he does come in and say, "Right, I was here before, but now I can see that what you're doing is kind of messing up the timelines, and
right,
I can't let
like
it stand."
I said, in the wrong hands,
you know what I mean?
in the wrong hands, a villain could take advantage of the time hotel and wreak havoc on time.
Yeah,
that's what I think. So
either the Doctor goes in there, or we see a story where loosely, like I'm not saying that they would, but they could go, "Oh, right, units got to be called in because there's too much disruption, and the Doctor has to go in and with unit."
All right. I mean, did you like anything about it?
I like the lady that he spent the time with when he had to do the long way round. I thought she was great. Joy, I don't know. She seemed a bit, I'm not saying it in a bad way because
she just didn't have much to do.
And the thing at the end,
she was kind of only in it for like 15 minutes, kind of.
In that country. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like in dense, not in like dense as in the character. Like she was dense character. Like she was dense as in like it was like brain fog. Basically, she was there for 15 minutes, but you can look at it and basically think, like if you look at it again, you could look at it and go, she doesn't really need to be in this story.
Well, it could have been that originally she wasn't, and then
they got her
at the last minute. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know the ins and outs of that. All I know is that they said, Moffat said that they ran out of money, they couldn't do stuff, so they had to do that whole thing with Anita and the Doctor as a thing. Because they didn't have money for him going to different time periods.
Did they run out of money though?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what Moffat said.
The trouble is though, did they run out of money because of this new spin-off of Unit? Did they have to?
No. That's separate. That money's allocated separate to that. It's just that they didn't want to. I guess they didn't have that much, or maybe they had a lot, but they kind of used a lot. I really, like I said, knowing that Moffat's an atheist and doesn't believe in God, I felt that was an opportunity for him to give a finger to God on Christmas Day, and I didn't appreciate the Star of Bethlehem not being God but being joy because it takes away from the whole thing about God. So I thought it sucked, and I thought that it should
Yeah,
never mix because I'm very religious. So it's like I was not
yeah.
happy, But
That bit where it was, yeah. There's the bit at the end with Bethlehem and that. It was just like
that's
I looked at
wrong.
it and I'm thinking to
That was
myself,
wrong. Yeah, that was wrong.
yeah, I looked at it and I literally, it was literally when it come on, I was like, why don't you Doctor Who in a religious statement?
Yeah. I just
You know,
I just felt it was wrong. The whole episode was just a waste. I mean, I understand. Look, I'm not again. I'm all for a Christmas special every year, and I understand. I understand. Rusty Davis said how important it is to have a Christmas special. So you got to understand that it's not going to be the best. It's just going to be there because it has to be there. But he could have did it so much better, as far as I'm concerned. But
yeah,
that's my take.
that's what I was looking at it. Like it's like you could if it was that and you class that as passable,
Right.
what are you saying as a standard then? If you know what I mean.
I mean, like I said, Russell wants it
Says,
to be a standard that there's a Christmas special every year. He didn't have time to do it. Moffat, he asked, I guess, at the last minute, and Moffat stepped in to save the day. But he also spread his message. Like Russell's message was pronouns and genders and binary, and Moffat's message was he's atheist. God doesn't exist. Merry Christmas. Screw you. It's like, okay, that's not cool. Again, they get into trouble when they do shit like that, and I did not care for it. I mean, despite like watching it again, I think I was too kind. I think I just hey, polluted turtle, Ubaga, what's going on? So yeah, I didn't like the Christmas special, the Joy of the World. I just hated it. So and again, it's just
that's what.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say that's what I'm saying. If you're thinking like we like this, and it's not because we're hating on it, it's because we know that they've done better Christmas specials in the past.
Oh yeah. That's the whole point. Is they could do better. It's even if you have less time to do it, don't fucking piss people. Don't go in there not giving a shit about people and pissing people off with religious beliefs. And they kind of did. They kind of really fucking pissed people off. That was kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
So
and that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. If you're putting that as possible, if they ain't looking at it like Dr. P. Davis and Stephen Moffat and they gone, oh, we've done our message and it's passable. What are they basically saying now going forward? Oh, we can just have mediocre and just basically send a message.
I mean,
which
you know what the thing is?
Anyway, but you know what I mean?
I mean, Trump is in office now. So Trump said he's getting rid of the genders. There's only 2 genders. People are not going to be allowed to use pronouns. People are not going. So my question would be, is that being that Disney Plus is an American company, they have to go by that standard. They can't start putting stuff into writing like it's real if they're not allowed to do it. Like if it's against the law. So like, how will the writing be affected now that Russell is muffled? I'm saying like with that whole gender thing and the whole diversity thing and all that shit's going out the window. So again, like, will you just talk about Doctor Who, or but again, I like I said, you kind of piss me off because it's like I'm very religious, and you just kind of went there with Doctor Who, and that's not what I really wanted. I was always religious. I was raised religious, and I believe in God, and this is a TV show, and you're trying to get busy and explain to people that God doesn't exist. You didn't have to do that on Christmas. You really didn't. That's not fucking cool. Hey, what's up, Scott?
Hello.
Hey, Scott.
Hello.
So I'm just getting
above us. I haven't seen him in a while.
I know. I've been doing my own
thing. I have to get him in for a couple minutes to do his review of Joy of the World.
I know.
I'm nearly at 400 subs on here now.
Damn sweet.
Yeah. By the way, for the audience out there that are not familiar with us, I have more than one member, Scott. Obviously,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
you'll
You
see
see,
them.
I don't put makeup on to make myself look
Right.
like other people.
You'll see them from time to time, and being that Ray's used to doing podcasts at night, he was available tonight to do this. But mostly everybody's probably sleeping. So, what did you rate it?
4 out of 10,
Okay.
and that's just being generous.
What did I give it, a 2?
That's
Originally?
being generous.
Yeah.
That I'm not
In
being
fact,
rude.
I think I wanted to remain 2. I don't want it to be anything higher because I saw it again after
when I
I
first
saw it
looked
the
at
third
it,
time, by the way,
yeah.
and I fucking hated it even more. So it was weird how I enjoyed it better the second time, and then I hated it again.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. I don't like it. You can't.
Well, you want to laugh? I watched it twice, and I normally watch Christmas specials a lot because of it coming up towards the new season, and I normally go through and rewatch everything.
Dude,
I've
rewatched the finale. I don't know how many times already. Right.
Because of Sutek,
the Legend of Ruby Sunday and the Empire of Death, and also the Giggle. I've been rewatching that over and over and over again. I love it, by the way. I know people don't like it. I do love the finale, and I do love the Giggle. So it's just, I am happy with the first season of Doctor Who, and I'm not happy with the Christmas special, of course.
Yeah.
I wasn't really thrilled with the other Shooty Gatwick Christmas special either. The Church on Ruby Road. Other than liking the song, I wasn't really thrilled with it. Remember, Scott, right?
Yeah.
So, but this is. I wanted to talk about this now because I didn't really do that much gaming today, other than beat the God of Hades and God of War 3, which was finally. But I wound up sleeping, and then I woke up, and it's on and off all day of the Tartar Zone bashing, diss tracks. And I wanted to give context to the audience that at the end of the day, the most ridiculous thing about this is that this lunatic is going crazy over a television show. Okay? Over a television show.
And he's trying to knock you off thinking that you're the top-notch guy, and nobody is.
Right. And thing is, he's of no authority for me to go to. I am my boss. I am my own boss. This is my group. I never had to report to fucking anyone about Doctor Who news. Ever. Okay? So now you're going out there and you're making it like who the fuck you're nobody. And I don't mean to be offensive, but you're a fucking nobody. That I've never had to do that in my life. We built this community and many others, and I don't need to have some underling Johnny come lately. This is the way I see him. He's a fucking gnat, and we could peacefully coexist, but not with this guy. I tried to unban him, and then he kept going on, and I screen shared the whole thing he started on August 31st. And again, guys, it's a TV show. Does this really happen in real life? Unfortunately, because these people are so nuts, they leaked my address, causing friction in my home. What is wrong with you people? So, and he thinks I'm gonna bow to him. Stop, Hayden. Not.
Hello, Hayden.
I'm not. I'm not gonna bow to that piece of shit. It's come on. Hayden, I sent you the link. You know? And then he goes on, when he attacked, I screen shared it on the video. When he attacked on August 31st, he mentioned the real Whovians. In text, making some false accusation, I don't have a group anymore, that everybody left me.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? He made diss tracks about the real Whovians cast. My group. Besides me. I know. Not for nothing, but there was some females on our show that were not fucking happy with it, honestly. And I'm pissed. It's don't fucking do that.
I don't think anyone would be happy, would they?
No, I'm just saying some people that heard the diss track were not fucking happy about it, honestly. What's up, Hayden? Another member.
What's going on?
Bro, what's going on? God. crazy shit in the Whovian community.
We're getting them out of the cobwebs. We're getting them out of the cobwebs.
It's funny. I invited Bad Wolf in here because he made. We were fighting on Twitter, me and Noah, and Bad Wolf made the meme of me and AI, me and Noah fighting each other, and then Jesus going right in the middle and stopping us. Because what happened was he made an AI. Wait, he made an AI of us, and then I go Jesus, and he's like, okay, and then he did the AI thing, and we're fighting AI, me and Noah, and he put Jesus in the center of it. That's fucking hysterical.
Well, that'd make a better Christmas special than what we just had. And that's saying something.
I agree. That would have been a better Christmas special.
I wanna see if I could. Okay, hold on, but let me screen this. I know Noel might try to like flag it, but I'm gonna try to screen share it. Hopefully Noel doesn't do anything. Let's see.
I've just been reading your Twitter lately. Oh, it is just entertaining to the bone.
I know.
There's more drama than what's going on at the White House.
Well, put it this way, Hayden and Scott. This is all good publicity for Joel's new book.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is what it is. This is all employed by Joel to get publicity for the new book.
Nothing.
Yeah.
How do they do that?
I don't know. This is AI, bro. I don't know how the fuck they did that.
Is your body shape accurate?
No. I'm actually thinner than that, but that's crazy. That's crazy what they can do with it.
It's all right. Like I said, this is good publicity for your new book, Joel. This is what you really done. This has nothing to do it.
This has nothing to do it. There's nothing to do with my new book.
Look, this is a ploy. Look. We know what you've done, Joe. You crafty man.
But you know what? The funny thing is, at times we're talking civil, and then at times like it's just like he just goes off like you need to like that time on Twitter. He's like, I need to fucking apologize on his show to his people and him that I'm lying about news of Doctor Who. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, what are you talking about? And then he's like, I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? And then the funny thing is, like, he goes and he's like, that I guess he played sports and he damaged his leg, so he can't work anymore. So he's collecting money. So he's collecting money from the fucking government, right? And then the fucking idiot decides to protest his country, and he gets arrested and he fights the police. And then they're like, "Oh, I guess you could go back to work." You're fucking an idiot. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And that's when he's like, oh, shit. What am I going to do? I'm going to attack Joe. Like, holy shit.
I'm sorry, but handball is not a sport there.
Jesus Christ. This is Doctor Who news. This isn't like, and I told him, I said, I unblocked you, but don't be like last time. He kept beeping me every hour, waking me up. We were sleeping in the middle of the night. And I said, I'm going to block you again because he's like, you'll never be rid of me. I'll be on you every minute of the day. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. I blocked him again. I blocked him again because he doesn't know how to act. He's a lunatic.
Who is this guy and where did this argument start?
So, he's been around for years, right?
Yeah.
When he first came on the scene, he was battling, I guess, Dr. Freedom and Mr. Charles Reviews and a few people. And I said hi to him and we became friends and everything. And then we weren't even friends like a couple of weeks, I think. He started getting jealous of he thought I was new or something. And then he found out from, I guess, Bolstrick that I've been around for a while. And then he started saying that my sources were wrong and his sources were right. So he started making a thing out of it. He got proved wrong. That didn't last that long. The second battle, he started again. That lasted a little bit. Then that got weird because then his wife started getting involved, talking to me about him, shit like that. And that got fucking nutty. Then that stopped and we were friends. And then he left the Whovian community to become fucking G.I. Joe with the fucking fighting his country or some shit or whatever the fuck it was, and got to be violent because he was a protester and a fucking whatever you want to call him, a freedom fighter, whatever. And he started beating up the police, got beat up himself, got arrested, and then he decides he wants to come back to the Whovian community by, what do they always do, Hayden? Attack me to make a grand entrance like it's wrestling, and try to drag my name through the mud to build himself up. And he fucking made a video attacking me, calling me a liar and a grifter. He used my video, put Ricky Gervais's face on it, played Benny Hill. He started saying that I'm a shitty author. He started bashing every aspect of me this third time. And I just was like, and then his buddy leaked my address. Like, it's like, are you kidding me? So it's like, and that, that's lower than low. I mean, there's unwritten rules with YouTube. You don't try to cause manual fucking like serious harm to somebody by leaking their ad. That's like baby shit. Wrong. That's baby shit. That's like fucked up. And he did that. His buddy, and like his buddy was like Scott to me. That was his guy. But his guy is a rock star from the fucking 90s with the outfit and everything. And his hit song was "Problem Being." Like whatever, and he was a fucking rock fucking icon with a few songs and famous, and then he just like a one-hit wonder, but had a few hits, and then he just stopped doing that, and he's gay and he's pushing like gay rights and stuff, and then he's against Doctor Who having gay stuff, so it makes no sense. But he's just he's a nut though, and he has projects, and he just tries to get people involved in me and Noel and shit. It's just terrible. So if that answers your question. But he started bashing our group. Like like making some weird fucking thing. Like he's a reporter. Like, what have you done to the Whovians? Like, why are they not around? What have you done to your YouTube channel? What are you fucking talking about? My YouTube channel's been here. It's always been here making me money. What are you talking about? I did gaming and didn't even bash that. So he picked everything connected to my life to shit on. So the last thing that he shit on was so I went to the doctors and I made the mistake of sharing, right? And everything was great, but he wanted me to lose a little weight. That doesn't mean I'm fucking super overweight. It just means he wanted me to lose a little weight. And I got to go for blood work and stuff, but I mean
less donut less than a month.
No. But see, that's the point though. It isn't, because the doctor said I have the opposite of diabetes. I need sugar, or else I suffer from low blood sugar. So I need sugar.
One more donut less than a month.
So I always have to have sugar. So
yeah,
he gets his fucking Whovian yenta bitches at Starbucks, and they're all men. They're not women, and they're like, Joe's fat. And they go online on Twitter like a bunch of fucking cunts. And they're like, Joe's a fat fuck. He eats donuts. And they're all making fun of me, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? So like they're weight shaming me. Then all of a sudden he's a doctor. And he's like, I need to know what the name is of your ailment. You're my enemy, you fuckface. And you're attacking me. Why the fuck would I tell you anything?
Yeah.
So then what he decides to do is this is the kicker. He decides he can't trick people of a regular person. So what he does is he starts picking names out of a hat on Twitter of all the Whovians that are in wheelchairs and autistic. And he goes, yeah, you're part of Gallifrey base? Matrix Lord stole this. And the kid's like, yeah! I'm going to make some memes. Ooh! And he starts the kid sends me 1,096 memes of me. Like, I'm a liar, Pinocchio's nose, this. And it starts beep, 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 flooding my shit. So I'm like blocking him because I'm like, dude, I need fucking sleep. Just like, I can't keep having that. And I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Where did I steal this from? And he's like, you said this from Gallifrey. I'm like, bro, we never even go on Gallifrey base. I had Marty telling me about the Christmas special for months, the new one. Never go on Gallifrey base. I don't even have a login. But because Noel told him, and he has a problem with communication, because that's what they have when they have autism. You can't get through to them. They don't understand that someone's manipulating them and that that's wrong. The kid is going to constantly mean me to death or try to. So he starts putting Crest on the fucking thing with a toothbrush. Like, I need to brush. That's why my teeth are like this. No, it's the sugar destroys the teeth, and I lost my dental coverage, and I can't do it right now. I can't, like, I'm trying. I was trying to get a new coverage. Then that coverage sucks. So, like, it is what it is. It's, like, not curable. I have to have sugar or I die, and he doesn't understand that. So he's like, stop eating donuts. Stop eating sugar. No, asshole. My body requires sugar. So he's an idiot. And his friends were idiot. And then the funny thing is, one of his members was joking at my expense. So I'm like, all right, motherfucker, what do you look like? So he had a picture of his fucking thing. I shared it all over the place. I'm like, this motherfucker's talking to me about eating donuts. He ate the whole Dunkin' Donuts. Look at this fuck. Look at this fuck. And he fucking wants a meetup group to get some chicks, to get some dates. So I'm like, yeah, you're never getting a date now, motherfucker. You attack me, bitch. So
Why is there's always so many fights in the Doctor Who community? It's like I just don't understand what it is about. Maybe we're all just so mad at Doctor Who and we take it out on each other.
No, because the thing is, they usually, you know how it works, right? They usually come after me first.
Yeah, because
Yeah, what is
you've
it
been
about
on the
you?
longest. So let's try and knock the guy who they think has been here the longest off the top run.
Because when I started on December 11, 2011,
Yeah,
I got partnership in record time. You knew in the past how hard it was to get you knew in the past how hard it was to get an income, right? It took me a couple of weeks because I was a nut. I used to post 10, 15 times a day. And then I started doing podcasts with you.
I remember.
Yeah, and then I started doing podcasts with you, the Whovian podcast. Then I did the real Whovians, right? But we used to always guest on each other's show. The Omega Files was Freedom, and Who Harmony was Sammy. And everybody was allowed to do everybody's podcast until someone set it up where it wasn't that way, which was Freedom. Like, oh, and he's trying to take over, and everybody's trying to take over. And then that whole thing when David Aston got something wrong when he was drunk and he was trying to tell Sammy that I'm against him. And then Sammy flagged my channel down. That started the whole thing. And then that gave the opportunity for people in our own group, Michael and all these other people, to break away from me and they did an off-air and they tried to tell fellow members of ours, oh, we're all real Whovians here. Chris was in there. And Chris was like, Joe's not here. This isn't the real Whovians. And then he left. And they tried to con people that they were the real Whovians cast, and then they couldn't do that because I was a nut always with the lawyers and shit too. And they always made memes of me with lawyers on retainer because I was going to court so much. Why not? Why not spend a little more? So they weren't legally allowed to be called the real Whovians, so they called themselves the Whovians. And then it was the Whovians and Sammy and Freedom versus me, and then it was Freedom battling Sammy, and then the Whovians battling Sammy, and then they all battled each other, and then they were all gone except for Freedom's in this corner, I'm in this corner, and we even had, I guess Louis was part of Carter Empire and all of that group, and there were Sammy Carter fans, and they wound up creating fake Matrix Lord accounts, and then you remember Jacob created accounts of all the female on the show and put it on fucking Pornhub. And then we had, anytime a female came in, they had to change their name and they couldn't have their camera on. So, and then we had James attacking. We had, it was just like a fucking World War Whovian war.
It was like Royal Rumble.
And then we had Who Wars too.
Yeah.
And Who Wars had the Facebook page and everything. And then it took Noel to try to go on a live stream to say that Who Wars was real. And their Wikipedia pages were real, even though it said it legally in there was satire and fake. And they got annoyed. Who Wars got annoyed because they hate him more than they ever hated me. And they removed all the Wikipedia pages and the Facebook page because of Noel, because they hate his guts. But he went on a stream and he's like, oh, what a piece of shit. He's a shitty writer. And he was trying to get people to unsubscribe. problem being was going on other podcasts saying if Joe appears, we're going to unsubscribe. Like, what is this? You're trying to blackball me in the goddamn community. It's like, are you for real? So the new Who Wars now, Whovians Who War, is Noel and company. It's Noel. What's problem being? It's Noel's fucking friends, his panel, and then they attacked the real Whovians lately, making diss tracks about us. And then he's under the impression we have nobody. Yeah.
Hey, on Scott's doing his thing. He's going to be hacking. Watch it.
Yeah, Scott. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to talk about how bad Joy to the World was.
Go ahead.
Oh, God.
That was maybe the worst hour of my life.
Yeah, it was too. Me too.
I don't think I cringed harder when the woman was standing there with a star coming out of her belly, and then she becomes a star of Bethlehem.
And then she kills her mom.
What the hell was that?
I think I'm going to be crude here, but I think I would have enjoyed masturbating for an hour more than that.
Jesus Christ, Ray. Jesus Christ, Ray. So
thank you to the family hour. Welcome to the family hour, ladies.
Yeah, there goes that monetization. So it turns out that
Ray was Asmongold.
Yeah, right.
What?
I thought Ray was Asmongold when I first saw him.
Jesus Christ. Oh, because his beard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ray has his own show on YouTube now, Paranormal Ripples.
I do my own YouTube. Yeah, I do my own YouTube now.
He's got he does all mysteries and ghosts and UFOs and all kinds of stuff.
As long as UFOs.
I'm 7 away from. I'm 7
promo you guys.
I'm 7 away. I'm 7 away from 400. Joe's coming on to do talk about the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, I appeared already on one episode. But I'm gonna appear on another episode of the Bermuda Triangle. That's my favorite.
This is a lot better than the Doctor Who talk.
Yeah. So
I know you have your inside sources, but reading your tweets, it's sort of like, I'm with Noel. I'm hoping this show gets cancelled.
Oh shit!
Damn.
I've had enough. I don't know about you guys. I feel like this show needs to go away for a while.
Well, I gotta tell you, I hated Space Babies.
Oh,
yeah.
I absolutely hated Rogue. Completely. That almost got me to not watch it, period. And then Sharon had to do some therapy and talk to me about it. But I overall I liked the season, and I'm biased because my first villain was Sutek. So he brought Sutek, he won me over, kind of. So the thing is,
mine was the very first episode of Tom's Robots. So
yeah. So what happened was Russell was too busy, and he asked Moffat to step in to do the Christmas special. And of course, Russell's message was pronouns and gender and this and that. Moffat is an atheist, doesn't believe in God, and he's like, "Oh, cool! I could just fuck over everybody on Christmas and say God don't fucking exist." Basically.
But what's with Moffat? Moffat's writing at this point has become so stale. Like, the hotel thing seemed very like we'd already done this before with Moffat. And what's with the joke with Moffat? He's done this at least 5 or 6 times. Anytime, like whether it's a guy or a woman, and they ask who's the special lady or the special guy, they always go, "Oh, you mean her?" Like, I'm actually a lesbian. She cracked that joke on the train. He's like, "Oh, what's his name?" or something, and she's like, "Oh, you mean her name?" You're like, doesn't he crack this every episode? Like, I'm actually gay.
He had to everybody had to have Bill say to everybody every episode.
It's like, look how woke I am, guys. It's like, we get it. You've done this before.
That was so funny. It's like, okay, but so he wrote this episode. He put his 2 cents in. And it didn't go the way he expected, obviously. I mean, it did well, but people were annoyed with it. I was annoyed with it. So this brings us to let's talk about what's going on. So the Christmas, first of all, season 2 and the Christmas special for 2025 was filmed at the same time. Okay. Joy to the World was filmed with season 1, and the 3 specials and the Christmas special were filmed in that block, right? So you had that anniversary block with the Christmas special. Then you had the 8 episodes plus Christmas special, which is the Joy of the World. Then you had the season 2 that didn't air yet with its Christmas special, and then they just finished filming spin-off, right, of the War Between the Land and the Sea. Now, they haven't aired the season 2, they haven't aired the spin-off, and they haven't aired the Christmas special. So there was what's happening is people have been making videos of, oh, it's canceled, and you know that with the famous memes, and people are like, oh shit, it's canceled. And what started a big thing was Mr. H Reviews, who I've always been a fan of, and Chris has too, when it comes to like when it comes to like Godzilla news and different things, right? He didn't really know about Doctor Who, but he put his 2 cents in, and he made a big thing that Ncuti Gatwa was fired because of doing stuff with kids on set, which is ridiculous. And he said that there was trouble between him and Russell, and that, you know, Doctor Who is canceled. It's going to be canceled. He's fired. All this shit. And then he's like, but take it with a grain of salt. And then everybody ran with that bullshit. It was like he got 74,000 views from it, and it's complete bullshit. And even Noel used that and forgot it wasn't his either, and he tried to steal it, and then he found out it was wrong. But people just went crazy, and people don't like it, they hate it, and they're trying to get it canceled. Now, they don't get it that that's all they talk about. So if it's canceled, they're out of business, basically, with their fucking YouTube channels, all of them. But they're too stupid to fucking realize that. So now, Type 40 had celebrated their 200th anniversary episode. I was in the chat. I do like their podcast, as I said, but
Type 40.
They've been around since 2018, I believe. They've been trying to. It's a nice put together podcast. I mean, I watch everybody's show because I like people talking about Doctor Who. So I'll watch it at night, or I'll watch it, you know, whatever. But I was in the chat, and he goes and he makes this grand announcement saying that he has his sources and people on the set more than anybody else, and their hit rate is 100%. So he's basically on it. So this is where things fall apart, because you know it's suspicious, because it's the 200th anniversary episode of his show, and he's trying to give a big ass fucking announcement. Doesn't exist, in my opinion. And he goes, I have it on 100% authority that Disney is done with Doctor Who. So I'm in the chat, and I'm like, that's not true. He's like, oh, it is true, Matrix Lord, it is. I'm like, no, it isn't. There's no article anywhere. And he's like, oh, look at this thing. Bad Wolf is renting space to... Bad Wolf has a huge fucking facility that's like 10 fucking things that only Doctor Who comprise of 3 of them. And they have so much space that they can film movies and everything at the same time. So it's January. They're promoting their fucking space. It has nothing to do with Doctor being canceled. So he's like, oh, and they canceled the Christmas special. So I'm like, now I know you're full of crap, because they can't cancel the Christmas special. Disney has no say, and it was filmed already. And he's like, no, it wasn't. So I started seeing he got mad, and I didn't want to disrespect him in his home. So I stopped engaging him with it. Congratulations, happy anniversary, blah, blah, blah. Noel goes with it, and he makes it like it's gospel and it's real. That's not real. And then other people like Freedom went against Noel, and this one against Type 40, and even Mr. Tardis went against Noel. So people are chiming in, not agreeing with Noel and Type 40. And Noel is just losing his shit. And he, again, still battling me. And he's like, Matrix was a liar. Season 3 is not happening. I mean, you remember that classic podcast he did that he found out I was right that they were filming that time? And he started throwing shit in his podcast, and they made the meme, the Simpson meme, that he's screaming, it's not filming, it's not, and everything. So he's saying he's not like that anymore, but he isn't done. So like, that time that they weren't allowed to film during COVID with Jodie, they broke the rules and they filmed. And then when he found out I was right, because he was saying I wasn't, then he was pissed about that too. That was the second time. So he just wants to be right, and he wants to take over the Whovian community, and he thinks he's the authority. And it's gotten to be really bad where now he's made hundreds of songs, and he made over 25 diss tracks of me. and AI images. Like he's just a nut. He's just a nut. It's just
I guess we're just not going to know until when did they say they're going to announce Series 3 if it happens, like June after Series 2 finishes?
The problem is Russell promised no gap years, and
Yeah.
Russell promised before this that there was going to be Christmas special every year guaranteed, because the one thing he didn't like was that they took a time-earned tradition in the UK of everybody in their family getting together to watch a Doctor Who Christmas special. So he even made a statement.
Do you think he oversold Doctor Who and thought it was bigger than it is? Do you think in his head he didn't realize the numbers would be as low as they were?
I think, and again, it's hard for me to say because I always post on his Instagram and he always likes my shit. So I'm not. I'm going to be honest with everybody here, and I'm not. If he gets mad at me, he gets mad at me. I think that he's trying too hard to put this message in there.
Yeah.
And it's more important to him to try to be, I guess, the educational teacher to the youth of America about gay life and transgender and all that. But he doesn't understand that, you're hired to do a job that you don't own that, right? It's been around forever. And I understand that it's been in their hands for a long time. It was in Russell, then Moffat, then Chibnall. But basically, they're best friends, so they're all connected to it. So again, he got it back. Moffat's back. We just found out that Gatiss has been back also, because Gatiss and Moffat are like that, and Gatiss is the voice of supposedly the Cuphead creature in season 2, right? So. As far as writing goes, I don't know if Gatiss had written any episodes of Doctor Who, but he's back basically. So, I think that he was spending too much time with this new age mentality, especially with Davros. I think the first instance that everybody got pissed off is that he said that Davros was human, or I'm sorry, Khaled, whatever race that is, right? That's close to human when he invented the Daleks, which is not true. Okay. Davros, through his accident and his rage at his handicap, built himself up and rage and warmonger against the race that put him in that apparatus, invented the Daleks through rage. And that was what Genesis of the Daleks was. He was not completely normal and human. So they did.
I don't think it's even worth discussing, is it? I think we all know that it's like, why are we even talking about this? It's just so stupid that he changed it.
So he changed it, and you thought the thing was, it's a children in need thing. So you think it's a comedy thing, like Curse of the Fatal Death, where Mr. Bean was the doctor, right? So you thought it's not canon. Then it turns out, like I said, he needs a PR person. He opens his mouth, and he goes, "It is canon," and people are like, "What? Like, how is that possible?" Right? So he says it's completely canon, 100%. So now, of course, the Doctor Who fan in us, the Whovians, are trying to figure out how the timeline has changed to do with this. And in the specials, they have the whole thing with Isaac Newton with Mavity, which means that the timeline had changed, but to us, it was minor until it gets to the future and it's major, meaning that Davros is completely changed because of the Mavity fucking thing. Because the timeline sent so many fucking ripples because of that one event that it alters the future, where the future didn't catch up with us. So, and it's not bothered by a time traveler. So now the whole thing of the Daleks shapes around it. And since they were always from the future, it's like the future coming to the past. You're always having a different iteration of the Daleks, so they all exist. You know what I'm saying? So now Davros is completely human, or whatever race that is. So you have that. Then you have, so then it was another thing. Why didn't David Tennant be in Jodie Whittaker's clothes? And he goes, well, David Tennant would have looked ridiculous. And I guess he said that Sacha Dhawan looked ridiculous in Jodie Whittaker's clothes, so he didn't want to repeat that mistake. I guess he was against his best friend Shibna with that because he felt it looked stupid. So he didn't want, an action figure of David Tennant in fucking Jodie Whittaker's attire. And being that they had done something where the first Doctor, when he regenerated to the second Doctor, he changed his clothes, if you remember, it was something like that. But then it was implied that the toy maker had altered the regeneration because, which was not confirmed, he felt that the 10th Doctor was the best iteration of the Doctor, and he wanted to face off against the best Doctor possible, the 10th Doctor. And he also is a fan of Donna Noble, the toy maker, so he wanted to deal with her too. So that was the rumor that the toy maker interfered. Now, we do know that the toy maker interfered with the regeneration of the 14th Doctor into the 15th because he split them. And they even admitted, like Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor, that it was the toy maker's magical energy that split the regeneration in half. So
what I argue to you though, Joe, is like, see how the writer, like the guy in charge of this whole show, doesn't even care. He's just sort of like, it's just a big fantasy, it's stupid. That's with me as a viewer. I kind of think, why do I care? If the writer thinks this is all stupid, then it must be stupid because he's not putting any effort into this and just going, oh, it's all fantasy now. It doesn't matter anymore.
Thing too. We all gathered together to do podcasts because it's science fiction. It's not fantasy. Yeah, exactly. So we would always theorize, right? But now if it's fantasy, now if it's fantasy, we can't theorize.
Because it doesn't matter. Because
you can wave a magic wand and anything goes.
But what's worse about it is, right, because in fantasy, usually you have one rule. With fantasy worlds, the way you get an audience is you have one fantastical thing in an ordinary world, which is what you can believe in, which gets you into the greater story. But with Doctor Who now, because anything goes, it's sort of like there's not even any rules. There are no rules even for it to be a fantasy. It's just, it's almost like it's a complete farce, like it's a comedy sketch like Curse of Fatal Death. Like, it's just ridiculous.
When you go to the well one too many times and you have a whole new timeline created, like the Master taking over Earth for a year, and everybody in slums and everybody suffering.
Yeah.
And then you wipe it clean. That's one thing to do it where you reset it back to the way it was. But if you continually do that on a regular basis, which is done, then people are like, well, I don't have to worry about my companion dying because now they'll just bring it back 2 seconds.
Exactly.
Right. So it's like, well, why should I tune in? They're like, why should I tune in? Like, oh, they'll come back.
I can tell you the one thing for me as a viewer, and it goes back years, this is the one thing for me where I started to not really care about the rules, was when Moffat introduced the idea of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey, time can be rewritten. That was never a rule in Doctor Who that time could be rewritten. They just sometimes would do it and sort of brush it off. But when it became the rule that you could just rewrite any event, it was sort of like, okay, this is completely different.
Yeah.
But see, the thing that's connected with that is, right, the biggest disrespect, I guess, for the UK and people who live in the UK was that, and it was pretty funny, I must admit, but America taking a shit on Doctor Who and putting out Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, right? Where it's not bigger on the inside, it's fucking small as fuck, but they're all in it, right? And those people are fucking Time Lords, even though they're not calling them Time Lords, right? So the funny thing about that was, Moffat watched that, right? And you remember how Bill and Ted are like, oh, okay, we're in the police precinct. In the future, you put the keys there, and then we'll unlock it and get out, right? And then you do this, and we'll do this. Oh, let's remember to put a trap there to stop the villain, right?
Yeah.
Moffat did this with the fucking Pandorica, where he's like, put the fucking sonic screwdriver in my pocket. Okay, he copied Bill and Ted's time travel theories that was a shitting on Doctor Who itself from that to adapt for his whole run of Matt Smith, which is ridiculous. You copied off of a copy. Think about that. That's fucked up, right? And then they back and forth between the Borg and the Cybermen. Yeah. They kind of made the Cybermen like the fucking Borg when the Borg was taken from the Cybermen. It's the weirdest shit.
And then under Capaldi we had the Time Ice thing, which was fucking
So like that's the whole thing. Is like I did enjoy Moffat's thing. I mean, we didn't like when he didn't explain shit. We got mad about that. Like, how the fuck is a weeping angel that fucking big? And you know what I'm saying? That was ridiculous. I mean, he tried to do a Ghostbusters thing there, but still, like, it's gotten to be now where on every instance, Ruby died as a baby, saved her, timeline fixed. Okay. Kate Stewart dies. Unit all die, but then they come back. So now, if you're watching this, you're like, well, who is that?
Whoa.
Hayden, that you? Oh. Hayden, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. My browser was playing up. One sec.
Okay. So like, so now it's gotten to be where we're never gonna get an Earth Shock episode. We're never gonna get an episode where, say, Adric dies and they can't fix it. Although we heard a rumor that they are gonna do that, where they're gonna kill Ruby Sunday, rumor, in the season 2 finale, and the Doctor fucking flips out. Like, flips out. Fuck you, unit. And then leaves. And then they're fucked. And they have to deal with the Cedos by themselves. Now, whether they called his phone, he don't answer. There is a possibility, rumor, that they get the 14th Doctor because of the rumor that Martha Jones is heavily involved with the spinoff. And who's going to save her but her doctor, technically. So that's the big rumor, that he shows up at the end. But the Christmas special that follows the spinoff was supposed to make him go through something so monumental that by the end of the episode, he's refreshed, he loves Unit, he loves the Earth, he's renewed in humanity, and the Doctor is ready to go for his third season, possibly final season, and battle all the familiar monsters that you're used to, because now it's the last hurrah of the 15th Doctor, and he got his wish, and he's going to fight the Daleks, but he's going to fight the human Davros, and the reason why that would happen is because the actor that played Davros, and the human Davros, the same actor that played Davros before, was in a play with Shooty, and they were talking plans that, they're going to bring the Daleks in for a last hurrah to battle the 15th Doctor. Now, probably the rumor was that at the end of that gets reset, where Mavity is gravity and Davros goes back into the way he is, but they'll do like a thing from behind or something, like to try to not show the apparatus, but show that his face is back to the way it is, and the timeline's restored, and then it would have the Doctor regenerate into the 16th. Now, we also heard, and we reported this a while ago, that Joe Martin is in season 2 of Doctor Who. We have talked about that for a long fucking time on here. And we've also talked about the Christmas special that's coming, that is supposed to be uncharted territory for the Doctor, meaning where could you go that you didn't go before? Well, Alice in Wonderland type. Now, again, we didn't say it was Alice in Wonderland, but we knew it was Alice in Wonderland, and we knew that
because they've already done the witch, the robe, and the
right. So it was like the spider, the curse of the clothes of the spider is technically the spider from Alice in Wonderland. Supposedly, he goes into this realm, which is probably to do with the Toymaker or the gods of whatever. And then it's never been there before, I guess. And then he comes out of it and he's okay. And again, this is what kills me, is we talked about this before it was even mentioned on Gallifrey Base. And then Noel says to this kid, hey, he stole from Gallifrey Base, and now this kid's making memes, 1,000 memes a day. Like being a little child. And it's not even a kid, he's probably in his 20s, but he has autism and he's in a wheelchair and he's just going on the attack. So you could track how long we talked about this episode way before it was even posted anywhere. But we never actually said Alice in Wonderland type, because we weren't allowed to. But yeah, so that's what's going on. We also have the rumored new TARDIS tales with Rose Tyler and her mother that's going to appear on the 20th anniversary of Rose, coming. But I think the thing is that people just. So anyway, getting back to Type 40, he makes that announcement about no Christmas special. Now, the thing is that they all got it wrong because they are getting confused. You know how Disney Plus linked the Christmas special on Disney Plus, where they label it as episode 1, and it isn't. It's fucking the special, right? And that was done with the 60th anniversary specials. It was that block. So people are confused that Christmas special is connected to episode 1 and Joy of the World is connected to episode 2. When the Christmas special is going to follow the season because it leads into the new season, right? So our Christmas special of 2025 was filmed already. Now, so Type 40 took liberties where they said that nothing was filmed and there's no Christmas special, right? Now, there was no evidence that there was no Christmas special, but Noel was going with it that's gospel. Now, this is how stupid they are. They had someone connected to them ask a question or give the question to someone to ask Russell, and Russell can't tell you what the Christmas special is because the Christmas special is connected to the spinoff, and the spinoff is connected to season 2, and you would spoil it. So he goes on like he usually does when he doesn't want to answer a question. People are like, what about the 14th Doctor? Oh, he died in Venice in the future. People are like, oh, really? Yeah, he died. He drowned. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah. He said, that's what I'm going to say because he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. Now, when the 15th Doctor asks Rose Noble, how's your uncle? She's like, good. And then she's on her iPad saying, hey, uncle, fucking Sutek is here. And then what you didn't know, but if you watched the finale numerous times like I have, you would have caught that the 14th Doctor immediately takes Donna Noble in the TARDIS. They take off before everybody gets dusted. They go throughout the universe. And there is, when the 15th Doctor is talking to that woman on the planet, and there's nothing left, she said a man was here earlier, right? That man was the 14th Doctor, okay? And he left the fucking spoon for the 15th Doctor to get it, to use it. So him and Donna escaped the whole thing and took off. And, of course, Sutek is not going to go after the 14th Doctor because if he went after the 14th Doctor, he's still bound by the laws of time. If he killed the 14th Doctor, the 15th Doctor wouldn't happen, technically, somehow. And even with the magics are not existing. And then he would basically prevent himself. So he left the TARDIS traveling throughout the universe of the 14th Doctor, not bothering with him, basically. And, it's going to come out. Now, my big rumor thing that I said was that what happens when 15th Doctor goes to regenerate and then finds out, oh shit, I can't. Because you were never supposed to be split in the first place. And the 14th Doctor has all the regenerations. And you just came out of him, but you didn't get the complete fucking thing, which they would have to remerge. Honestly, they would have to remerge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's my rumor. That's my speculation. But
what if the 14th Doctor becomes the Watcher?
Well, then shoot, he's complete because then it.
Because if you think about it, say the 14th Doctor turns into the Curator, who turns into the Watcher, and then it sort of fixes all that up.
Well, it won't fix it up because we didn't see the Valyard yet.
Yeah, is that ever going to happen?
So technically, if you look at it, if the Valyard is the Doctor in the future, somehow he gets a regeneration, and it doesn't go the way he thinks, and he turns back completely good, right? So he becomes the last incarnation is the Watcher, and then the Watcher, I guess, there's a purpose behind regenerating into himself, where the only thing that will be retained would be maybe to I guess, abolish the Valyard or something. I don't know. Some key memory that would go from regeneration to regeneration that would just change the entire loop.
But if the Doctor has already seen the Valyard, like, you know, the Sixth Doctor when they met, like, surely he wouldn't go, "Oh, I'm going to try to stop myself, but no, I'm going to fail," because he already knows it doesn't work.
No, but the thing is that the Valyard has to appear as a regeneration of the Doctor. Eventually, you have to see it, and you're like, "Oh shit, now what?" Right?
But was that before Trenzalore was changed?
Well, so the thing is that hasn't changed because the Great Intelligence mentions the Valyard.
Did the Time War change the Doctor from becoming the Valyard?
No, but I do believe that the Sisterhood of Karn lied to the Eighth Doctor and saying that he can't regenerate. I think that's a lie. Okay. Because I think that they wanted to alter the Time War by inserting a Doctor. So in other words, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, and because he can't remember that incarnation, it still happens the way it happened. So the 9th was always supposed to be after the 8th, but that potion was put in the middle of it. So when the mission was done, instant regeneration triggered. Like he surfaced. He was always going to regenerate into the 9th, but the Sisterhood of Karn put the potion in there to stop that regeneration. So in other words, he was always going to regenerate. They lied and said that he was never going to regenerate. He was going to die because they wanted their Doctor inserted in there.
That's actually quite a good theory. I'm going to give you that one. You can have that one.
To add to that is, how could she make the potion herself if she didn't know what he was going to choose? Because they're connected with Gallifrey and they see time and they see the future. So she knows he's going to choose a warrior. So that's why the potion's already created. So in other words, the potion is sort of one regeneration added. Now, there was limits put on regeneration. Yes, the Doctor can regenerate indefinitely, but because they put something in the DNA, he couldn't regenerate indefinitely. So that was an added regeneration in there, okay? That was just put in there as an extra regeneration because, and you know, they don't want to screw up time, but they would by changing the Time War, but then the Time Lords would have to fix it. So, again, when he goes to say goodbye, he's in the TARDIS, he's not hurt, and he said, "Oh, here we go." Because the regeneration finally came through. Like the 9th Doctor finally was prevented from emerging from the potion, and now the mission's done, and now he comes through. Because he was always supposed to be the 8th Doctor and the 9th Doctor. Huh?
It's a good explanation.
Yeah.
I like it. You've changed my mind. I'll give you that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's actually good. I never thought of it that way. Like it was, like it's that sounded sexual. I was going to say an insertion. That just sounded wrong.
Now, people were arguing about Joe Martin being after the 2nd Doctor.
The division inserted her somewhere.
Well, did you see the new version of War Games?
No. Oh yes.
Okay, so in the new version of War Games that was altered by Russell T Davis's team, the War Chief is the Master before he became the Master.
Oh.
Wait, I only saw the ending of it. Saw a lot of the edited clips that they confirmed. Did they confirm that was the Master?
Yes.
Yeah, because the Master's theme gets played when the War Chief appears on screen.
So in other words, they said that the acting was so fucking spectacular by Patrick Troughton encountering this guy that when you looked into fucking Patrick Troughton's eyes, you actually believed he was the Doctor, and in complete fear that that's the person he grew up with that was killing everybody, that it was like, oh shit, because immediately when he recognized him, before he chose the name of the Master, he was in complete and utter fear that this guy was going to kill his companion completely, that he starts screaming and running, and then it's just epic, and they're like, that was so well done that you could fucking believe it.
It always made sense that was the Master. They just never confirmed it.
Well, the Master wasn't even thought up back then.
They had music.
The Master wasn't even thought up back then till after. That's the
It
point.
just made like so much sense when the master appeared. Yeah.
It does. And you know what? It makes. I'm always against them. Like I always told you, I don't like when they change anything, right? But I gotta tell you, when I saw that was a lot more fucking interesting. It made a lot more fucking sense that he was coming into himself, sort of like the War Doctor was not the Doctor, trying to find who he is, and he's using people to get ahead and eventually take over the world and dump that guy, right? So he's the War Chief, but he didn't choose the Master title yet. Until
you go from Chief to Master. He sort of upgraded himself, didn't he?
Right. Yes.
So if in one of the new series they go, he sees the Master and goes, and then mention the War Chief carnation, you'd be happy with it.
So
it makes sense. I think it's one of those things.
And you know what? It doesn't really damage canon because the War Chief was never used again.
No.
It doesn't really.
So they do say, he comes to the Master and says, you've moved on a lot from your War Chief incarnation.
Well, no, he doesn't. I mean, that's the thing. I don't think they're ever going to. I don't know if they're going to address it. But the thing that I like though is that that the Time Lords put him back in the TARDIS, and that he regenerated in the TARDIS, even though he was going through all that. They put him back in there so he could crash land on Earth. So I like that happened because it shows that Joe Martin did not come after the second into the third because we actually got to see that. Even though I'm against it because I like the original way, but I understand it. But now
does that make you more annoyed that she's before the first Doctor?
Well, now so here's the thing that makes no sense is that I think she got it wrong. I think that Chibnall told her, think of yourself as the first Doctor, but never actually saying she's the first Doctor. Because in an interview, he says, well, I really don't know where she is in the Doctor's mythology because I never really confirmed and decided what she was. Okay? But then she's saying that he told her that. I don't think he told her that. I think he told her, believe yourself as the main original one so you could have that arrogance, like who the fuck you are, ego type. Like, hey, honey, I'm the original. I'm the first. So that's why she's like fucking ripping fucking their horns off and getting guns and shooting. She don't give a fuck. Like she's whatever. So, which is wrong. So now we also have the toy maker say that I created a jigsaw puzzle of your history. So now we don't know that he didn't alter something in the past that split him again to where that's Joe Martin's Doctor. Okay? So maybe there were two splits. But also there's the other mystery that the second Doctor that appeared with the sixth Doctor was older, restored his companion's memories. So being that the Doctor could revisit old bases, that's not the second Doctor. It's like the 22nd Doctor, possibly.
Well, there has to be a split in the timeline at some point, right? There has to be a split somewhere.
Why?
Well, just to account for Joe Martin, to account for that second Doctor that's older.
I mean, the thing that they could say is that the Metacrisis Doctor in that universe got regenerations. There was an accident, lost his memory. David Tennant's Metacrisis Doctor regenerates into Joe Martin, and she has no memory of fucking him. But her brain is in sync with Jodie's because the Metacrisis came from him, the hand.
Yeah.
But she's technically Metacrisis too. And in our universe, because they were fucking around with the timelines in the fucking thing. And we don't even know, honestly, we don't even know if the Master, right, when he tried to escape, like in other words, when Missy, I'm saying, was on that thing was going in a black hole when she was dying, right? So technically she regenerates somehow because she saw that she was going to get shot. So she bullshitted John Sims' Master because she had the vortex manipulator absorb most of the blast anyway. And if you remember the Daleks shooting her, didn't kill her. It absorbed the blast. So she's wearing the vortex manipulator. It absorbs the fucking laser screwdriver blast. And she regenerates, but the ship could have went in the black hole leading to Universe 2. And Sasha Dewan's master could have thought that Gallifrey is his and killed everybody. Where Tecteun is from.
The way I set it up with Martin was one of two ways. Either she was, that's how I always looked at it. She was either a Chancellery Guard or she was a member of the Celestial Intervention Agency, either on her own or personally dispatched to investigate who was breaching the Matrix. Because I always looked at the whole timeless child thing as a ploy by Rassilon to not only get even with the Doctor for what happened in Hell Bent,
right? Which Miss Blood is probably Rassilon.
But also in order to distract the Doctor so he could retake Gallifrey. But nonetheless, Martin's Doctor goes in and is brainwashed in a certain degree to find a TARDIS that looks like the exterior of the Doctor's, as well as a corrupt info stamp to help double down on what he had covertly sent to the Master. Because the whole notion is Rassilon had covertly sent the information of the Timeless Child to the Master to screw with right. the Doctor, so the two of them would not only be distracting each other, but would kill each other due to the events of past things.
And also the toy maker fucking with Rassilon could make Rassilon have like Time Lord dementia, where the memory seeps in every now and then, but then goes away, and most of the time she's Mrs. Flood, but then she's really Rassilon, because the only person that ever did narration for the human race was Rassilon at the end of time, where he's talking about Christmas, he's talking about Earthlings, and it was Rassilon.
The whole thing with Tecteun, I also put this in as well. Instead of being one of the three who helped found Time Lord Society and was supposed to be the one who found regeneration energy, she was actually one of a handful sent to investigate the whole giant vampire thing.
Well, according to Rassilon and Omega, she doesn't exist. She's a nobody. That's complete bullshit. There was no
like I said. This hear me out.
Yeah, no, I know.
She finds the child, but her experiments kill the child, which sends her to Shada. The other idea is the child was actually Tecteun's. Her experiments to help save her child sends her to Shada, but the Ruth doctors inadvertently get her memory either purposely or accidentally wiped. So you're ever wondering, is the Ruth doctor actually her daughter? That's the other idea I came up with.
Now they could totally fuck us. The 14th Doctor gets killed and regeneration to Joe Martin, and then you're like, oh shit. Then you're fucking like, well, now we don't know what to do because
I have a simpler theory, Joe.
Yeah.
The whole time this child was just a way that the Cybermen tried to manipulate the Master into destroying Gallifrey. So they implanted memories in his head that the Doctor was actually the secret Master race, and so that way the Master would go against the Doctor.
Somebody manipulated the Master into believing that
because they saw that it was either the Cybermen or the Daleks realized the Master and the Doctor had buddied up, and they thought, no, we need the last two Time Lords at war with each other, and we need the Master to kill the Time Lords. So they've implanted these ideas into his head about the Doctor, and fudged with the Matrix. The Master's killed all the Time Lords. Exactly, and the Master's killed all the Time Lords and told the Doctor this crazy thing. The Doctor's distracted. Meanwhile, the Daleks are planning this massive attack. Time War 2.0 or something.
Right.
And the Time Lords are alive somewhere. Because it was just silly to have them all die.
The key thing is that not anybody's aware of is that the Time Lords connected to the fugitive Doctor never existed to the Doctor.
Yes.
So that right there goes to show that that's a completely different timeline. So in other words, the woman that's had a hit on the Doctor is technically like Rassilon's daughter or something from that timeline, which doesn't exist. And none of them know that Gallifrey is destroyed. When you have the most superior technology and you're on the intergalactic phone, you don't know that Gallifrey is destroyed. Why are all those Time Lords not on Gallifrey then? So that's the point, is that this is why there's confusion, because you're talking about two universes interacting with each other, and they both don't know that they're interacting with a different universe.
I don't think we're ever going to get any answers for this outside of Big Finish.
I don't.
Yeah, but Big Finish don't count for shit anyway, so you can't really.
Well, here's one for you then, Joe. As you know a lot on the inside, and obviously, you know, our good friend Marty is the man in the industry. He knows things.
Okay, so Marty is one piece of the puzzle, but I have other sources. But go ahead.
Hey, I've got a few bottles of sauce as well that I'm going to have to break open tonight. Got the tomato, the barbecue, the relish.
Right. That's right.
Good.
Sauces, yeah.
But all right, so obviously they keep hinting at this whole the Doctor's an orphan storyline. Is that going anywhere? Do you have any insight on that?
Joe Martin's supposed to show up as the Doctor in the second season.
So the coming season, she's already shot scenes for him. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And I also heard a rumor that the 14th Doctor is going to appear again. So I also heard that they made an offer to Ncuti for another season, but he did not accept it. And that...
Is this a fourth season?
Well, no, but there is a third season. There's not a fourth season. That's the thing. So
no, but didn't he have a deal for 3 seasons already done, though?
Correct. So in other words, what's happening is that when he films, and this is why this season 3 is, I talk about the most of any other season, is because this is the season where we should have had that season 1. He gets the Cybermen. He gets the Daleks. He regenerates in the Christmas special 2026. Right? Now, to me, my knowledge was that season 3 is a go and season 4 is questionable, because Russell was trying to, basically when they're doing the spin-off, and he was trying to get the show continued, because they don't want to just sit and not do anything. They want to film something until the spin-off airs. So in other words, they would film season 3 and the Christmas special, and then the spin-off would air, right? They're filming while that's going on. What he was really trying to hook Disney with is, hey, look, 4th season, new Doctor, new TARDIS, new companion, whole new show. So he's trying to hook them, say, look, if you're not on board with this, you have this to look forward to, right? Now, of course, Disney Plus has been trying to get the catalog of Doctor Who, the old episodes, right? So the argument was, well, why don't you approve us while we're still in negotiation for season 3, and not approve season 4, you know? And then take it from there and give us time to establish, the show.
But who are you going to cast as the Doctor that's going to get the audience excited?
Okay, so this is where I don't agree.
Yeah.
With Russell, because ultimately this is where there's going to be a divergence, and it's actually going to get me to be against it. Now, it turns out, we've said this always, right? We always didn't like it that Moffat had yes men, right? And nobody could tell him you're doing something wrong with the episode, and then he would do something wrong with the episode, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with Russell. So apparently, Russell, it's 95%, and because they're always in competition as best friends, Russell is under the notion that he could do a better female Doctor than Chibnall. So it's all about, my Doctor's the longest, my Doctor's the this, because they're a bunch of fanboys. Russell, because he's in charge, wants the Doctor to be a female. Again.
They need to wait 1 to 2 more Doctors. I'm sorry.
Everybody else kind of pushing. What's that?
That's Hayden, isn't it?
What is that noise?
That's Hayden, isn't it?
That's you, Hayden? Okay. So everybody else they want the Doctor Who to go into the direction of a 20-year-old kid.
Oh no.
Vampire Diaries, romance triangle with the Doctor and the Master with this hot-ass companion that the Master is so enamored with, and that she chooses the Master over the Doctor and then dies, and it's like a whole weird shit, and it's just a fucking weird-ass situation.
No,
so they were saying that this will draw people in.
We don't need Doctor Who meets Twilight.
It's what's in. It's what's hot.
No, it's
hotter
not.
than fucking. That you're talking about Teen Beat. You're talking about the companion's hot. The Doctor's hot. The Master's hot. Oh shit! We're gonna get this whole new audience. This is gonna. So this is what.
I'm sorry. If you don't have the audience now, you're going to drive them away even more with this.
Ultimately, Russell T Davies doesn't give a shit about that, right? And he's going to do what he's going to do, right? Right now, it's 95% female Doctor.
Well, look at the last time we had a 20-year-old take the lead. That was Matt Smith.
Was he 20?
I
don't think he was 20. I don't think he's 20, though. I think he was like 24, right? So, anyway, this is what they want. So now, they were trying to get Russell to go this way because he was a fan of Buffy, and they'd be like, "Oh shit, you could have your whole goddamn Buffy squad, but Doctor Who wise, right?" Now, guess what? How old was he?
He was 26. He was the youngest Doctor. 26,
but he wasn't 20. So the thing is, now we found out. They made an offer to Sarah Michelle Gellar to bring Buffy back in a reboot, but her as Buffy. Which, you know what? Yeah. I'm on board with because I love Buffy, right?
Yeah, I heard about something like that.
That's going to be a fucking thing because also Russell loves Buffy too. They all love Buffy. So that would be a thing for Russell to go in that direction to try to, now that Buffy's back, of course she's older, to make the Doctor a 20-year-old fucking sex symbol, and then having this hottest fucking girl ever, and then the Master, and then it's like then the Master is with them in the TARDIS because he likes the girl, and then it's fucking weird shit, and that maybe she would change him forever.
So when the ratings really do start bombing because of this horse shit, what is Russell going to do?
Well, what do you think it would bomb with? Do you think it would bomb with a female Doctor? Or would it bomb with a 20-year-old?
I think it'll bomb with a female. I think the 20-year-old Doctor thing would probably boost it.
Yeah.
I think it would.
Absolutely.
Because it's not too quote-unquote woke. It's more your standard soap opera sort of garbage that young people like.
Right. Think about it. You have nothing out there right now that showcases that age group. That there's no show that these kids are watching regularly that's connected to them right now, as far as I'm aware. That Doctor Who would be their thing, and the ratings would go probably through the roof because the whole new generation you're talking about now. So I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm just saying that I kind of just want the Doctor to be male and just be. I mean, he can be female, but I think they need to stay away from that for a while, and I think.
Yeah, like I said,
I don't think they should get.
Due to the way Chub Nuts screwed things over, and I still think, and I'll say this till the day I die, it just made every time I watched one of Chibnall's episodes, it felt like he was trying to prove how the Doctor shouldn't have been a female.
Right.
So they need to wait until at least I'm going to say 1 to 2 more Doctors before they try to pull the whole female angle again.
And so the whole thing too is Disney Plus is a American company, and Trump had created laws that no more there's only 2 genders, there's no pronouns anymore, there's no diversity anymore, and they're bound by those rules when they do stuff in America. And he would be influenced that he can't do that stuff. He can't promote that stuff because they're trying to go against it. So, now the thing is, who's going to win? Is Russell going to win? or is Russell going to give in? Because if Russell gives in, now this is the thing. Of course, they can't. No one's firing Russell T. Davis.
Yeah.
I just want to put that out there, right?
Mm.
Russell T. Davis is responsible for his buddies creating Bad Wolf for them. They make tons of money from him. They'll never fire him.
No.
BBC will never fire him because he's keeping the BBC alive, right? But they don't want to tell. So in other words, you have to give him something in order to get something, right? So if they want that, of course he'll want 4 things because it isn't just one thing. He wants power, and he wants longevity, and he wants power outside of the Whovians. He wants to be in the MCU, or he wants to control Star Wars, or he wants to have something that's a retirement plan where he's a Kathleen Kennedy and you can't eliminate him. With the current state that Disney is in, they would be open to it because it can't get worse than Kathleen Kennedy.
Mm.
Now, of course, that's not what he just would want. Of course, it's a connection to his buddies. And again, we already got that. David Tennant has a show on Disney Plus, right? He's got a 2nd season approved already, okay? Moffat's going to have stuff. He got something green lit, okay, that he talked about doing 6 episodes. That's on Disney Plus. Mark Gatiss is doing something. Chibnall is they're all connected. It's like the boy $1 million club, the $1 billion club thing. Russell is going to take over. Okay? He's going to be so fucking powerful. You think he's not completely powerful now because there's doubt right now, right? And it's like he doesn't like that, but he will be more powerful if he does this. Okay? He will be more powerful.
But what if season 2's ratings are like half of season 1?
So the thing about this is you have to look at it as it has been predicted through secret polls that the ratings are going to be through the roof for the unit spinoff. Because it really has nothing to do with Doctor Who, and it's going to be purely unit being motherfucking badasses killing the fucking threat. Okay? Her being a dominant fucking hero and them just coming in guns blazing. This is like fucking Rambo TV series or fucking Commando or fucking whatever. Pure fucking shit. Like I'm talking shit that's missing on TV. You don't have the A-Team now. You don't have those shows now. Like with a Magnum PI or fucking all that other shit. There's nothing out there like that now. But there will be. And it's projected that that shit is going to go through the fucking roof. Now, the thing is, the conundrum is, and they're not talking about this on the other channels, is that Disney can't announce that they're done with Doctor Who before everything airs. Okay? So the spinoff has to air because they don't want to hurt the ratings for the spinoff. And what all these podcasts are doing is they don't want to believe that we have to wait even longer than the spinoff for a cancellation announcement. So they created this mythical story about a Christmas special not existing because that would mean that they can't cancel Doctor Who until December 26th. So it goes against all these podcasts that they have to wait the whole year thinking that it could get canceled because the last thing airs is the Christmas special. So that is why all these people want the Christmas special out of the way. Because it would, see, at least with the spinoff, you don't know when it could air, right? If Doctor Who airs in April, it'll be over in less than 2 months, right? And then the spinoff could appear right after, and then boom. Yeah. Spinoff is 5 episodes. They don't have to do every week. They could do a Netflix thing and put that shit out at once, right? because they don't want it to integrate. So we don't know what they're going to do with the spinoff. We don't know if they're going to put it in the span of a week, maybe every single day they air an episode, or maybe not. Or they could go 5 weeks if they want to go, right? Usually they would air 2 episodes at once, and then it would be over in less than a month, right? Like a month, or a little more than a month, right? 5 weeks it would be, right? Or whatever. Or less than 5 weeks. No, it'd be like a month, whatever. So anyway, they don't want to hurt what they spent money for. Just imagine that let's just say they jumped the gun, which they have never, listen to this, they've never jumped, they're not DC. Don't confuse Marvel and Disney with DC. DC canceled Batgirl, and you'll never see it. DC canceled Scooby-Doo, sequel of Scoob, which was super popular, canceled it, and it was just about done, which they wanted finishing it, even though they flat out cancel shit that's made. With Marvel concerned, Marvel had announced Inhumans movie, but nothing was done, so they're like, oh, we're canceling it, we're making it a TV show, and it bombed, right? But here's the thing, they already threw the script in the garbage for Armor Wars. Because they're like, that fucking idiot fucked up the whole concept of Armor Wars because he said that James Rhodes wasn't around for anything. It was a Skrull. So now they're fucked. So they're going to be like, oh, don't listen to Secret Invasion. That's bullshit. Right? But they're fucked now. So nobody gives a shit about Armor Wars. They care about the Vision. They care about the Scarlet Witch. They care about Wicked. Because that's the hardest thing. They were through the roof, the ratings. So they don't give a fuck about Armor Wars. And then, why would you give a shit about Armor Wars if Tony Stark's not involved with it? What the fuck would Rhodey care about that? So, they are on a track record of bad. They're going to lose a lot of money. Okay? They're lying about Captain America. Captain America did not cost $180. They spent over $500 million on that. That's going to bother. No matter what. There's no way. There is no way. And the kicker is 5 minutes of screen time for the Red Hulk. Yeah. 5 minutes. So who are you going to do? What are you going to do with the whole fucking movie? You're going to twiddle your fucking thumbs. That's what you're going to do. He doesn't have the super soldier serum. So how the fuck would he withstand a punch? Even if it's an adamantium shield, even if it's an adamantium armor, he would break his fucking bones inside there. Okay?
Because the Red Hulk gets hotter as you get angrier.
And he's stronger. He's stronger. So I'm not even going to say bomb. I'll say it doesn't do as well as expected.
No, it's not going to do as good as they're going to say.
Thunderbolts, they're not sure.
Oh, God.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. It's split.
That one should be on a freaking streaming service.
Okay, it's split. The fan base is split on that. Okay? Even though it's probably going to bomb. It's split. Okay? Do you care about Riri Williams? Do you know who Riri Williams is? No. You know who she is? She's a 15-year-old from that Iron Man graduate. Yeah, nobody gives. She's no. Nobody cares about it. Nobody cares. Does anybody give a fuck about Blade? No.
No.
But Ryan Reynolds, it's like, hey, my movie did $1.6 billion. I want Wesley Snipes as Blade. And they're like, oh, okay. She's like, no, I don't think you understand. I want Wesley Snipes as Blade.
Yeah.
I want Wesley Snipes as Blade. Now, does anybody give a fuck about the current Blade? That is supposed to be in the 1800s? No. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Nobody gives a fuck about that actor because the script sucks. So they don't want to see him. They want to see Wesley Snipes.
Because the first script idea had him pretty much as a damn cameo.
But they want to see Wesley Snipes because they saw Wesley Snipes as Blade. So they don't give a fuck if it's from a different universe. They want to see Wesley Snipes. Yeah. And also, what does he do? I want Channing Tatum's Gambit to be in the movie. Or being like, and they're like, no, if he's not in his own movie, I want him to be in the X-Men movie, or Secret Wars, or whatever. So look, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Ryan Reynolds pulled them out of the fire.
Yeah, his Deadpool movie pretty much saved their ass.
But think about this. Yeah. This was a personal thing.
Yeah,
for Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
as a fanboy. he harassed for years Hugh Jackman, right? And it became a joke. Hugh Jackman got mad at times, right? But in the end, he gave in, right? Now, while all this was happening, his wife wanted a divorce. And that this whole thing fucking fucked up his life. What did he have to hold on to? Wolverine. I'm going to work out every day. I'm going to do this every day. Put his life back to order. I'm not saying that she's the cause.
Yeah.
Whatever. But he was more focused than anything on building that motherfucking body. And let me tell you, that body, that shit was real. He worked that shit out. And he is Wolverine. And I don't give a fuck. And they know he's Wolverine. It doesn't matter what age it is.
Yeah.
He is Wolverine. And
he's going to be Wolverine until 90 and above.
All these thoughts about, that's a joke, but all these thoughts about anybody as recast, that's out the fucking window. Okay? Why? Because they weren't making money, and now they made like $1 billion and something.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking at this, and they're like, even though we were mad at him, Ryan Reynolds, and making jokes, you know what? He saved our fucking company, right? But all these other assholes are not saving the company. They're not contributing shit. So who are they going to listen to? They're going to listen to Ryan fucking Reynolds. Now, Think about this, right? Notice all of a sudden lately, all this shit's coming out that, listen to this. They fired Jonathan Majors, Kang.
Yeah.
Right? Well, bullshit. Like, basically, the girl was a nut, and she said he hurt her, and he really didn't, but he got hit with a charge because to try to protect her, he shoved her, but he's like the Green Goblin throwing Gwen Stacy. Like, she's a twig. So, when the main thing after that case was done, she dropped everything and made it as bullshit. So now, they did pay Robert Downey Jr. like fucking hell.
Yeah,
right?
Big bucks.
But you need Kang eventually. So all this stuff, this rumbling about Kang being back, Jonathan Major being back, they fucked up when they did with James Gunn. And James Gunn, yes, he did Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but what do we say he should do? He should be part of DC, and he did, right? Mm-hmm. We fucking was supporting James Gunn. We were like, this is what you should do. And we're like, if I was DC, we would grab him or Warner Brothers, and they did. They fucking did. So they don't want Jonathan Majors in fucking DC, EU, with James Gunn at all. At all. If you didn't know that the Marvel and DC thing rivalry is real, you could have James Gunn saying it's phony. You could have Kevin Feige saying it's phony. But when is Superman coming out? And when is Fantastic Four coming out?
Yeah. Practically a week of each other.
Fantastic Four is going to destroy Superman's fucking box office. Why? Because they're burned. Even though they fucked him, they're burned that he's running their enemy's thing. At the end of the day, there's no friendship. They're enemies. Marvel and DC are always going to be enemies, like they're entities. It's always going to happen. And they could say shit. No, it's fucking real. Okay? They are trying to destroy Superman, and James Gunn knows it. So there's no fucking friendship shit at all now, because they're trying to destroy his shit. Okay? That's why, all of a sudden, the rule about we're going to wait and see every movie, oh no. All of a sudden, mysteriously, without anybody saying anything, that was done. Because he went ahead and filmed Supergirl anyway. Remember how he said, we have to wait and see how Superman does before we greenlight any projects? Now, he snuck that in. He snuck the Supergirl thing in there where nobody would notice that's going to be fucking completely filmed by the time fucking Superman comes out. So now it's not going to be Superman, the whole universe is on Superman's shoulders. It's, well, if Superman does bad, he has a second chance.
He's got a backup with Supergirl.
He's got a backup with Supergirl. And then he's also got the third backup that if shit really goes bad, he'll do fucking Scooby-Doo 3 with fucking Sarah Michelle Gellar and all of them, and everybody will go nuts.
I know it's going to sound a little bit weird, but with the Scooby-Doo third one, what they should do is it should be a credit scene, but set it up so they could spin off Blue Falcon.
Yeah.
There you go. Like I said,
they did that in Scoob.
Yeah, so that's what they should do. Like they set it up where Blue Falcon is in I'm going to say it like this, in one of their ending credit scenes. So
I got to tell you, I grew up with all that shit.
Yeah, same here.
I grew up with Dick Dastardly and Muttley, and then making all those planes and crashing them, and all the Hanna-Barbera characters and the Flintstones and the Jetsons and everybody. Okay.
And here's another thing. I mentioned this. Somebody put a thing about the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I said, you know what they should do for the second, if they do make a second movie, have the second Dungeons and Dragons movie based on the unreleased final episode of the 80s cartoon. Well, somebody says, well, that was in that movie. I says, yeah, that's what gave me the idea, is take that final episode of the 80s cartoon, which was never aired, live action it, and then that way the third on, if you want to, you could go back to the original crew that was in that
but see, the thing is that they need someone that will run or take off stuff from the other. Now here's the thing, what is working for Disney? Aliens, like Alien, Predator, that's taken off. That's fixed.
Because they're having another Predator movie anyway.
But it's fixed.
Yeah.
It's completely fixed right now.
And apparently they're in another Alien versus Predator as well.
It's completely fixed right now. So they don't have to worry about those properties yet. Now, James Cameron, I knew he was going to do another Terminator because he fucked that. So what should he do? John Connor. You have to restore that universe and throw that shit in the garbage. You don't want to have Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay, but John Connor, that whole thing is connected.
He has to bring back Connor,
Forget about this diversity shit and the female new resistance leader that was homeless. Forget about that shit. Drop the diversity shit, first of all. Even in Doctor Who, though, listen, you could hire people that of different races, but don't make it like you're not hiring white people. That shit's got to stop. And you know what? Even
because basically what you're doing is you're discriminating, and you could easily get yourself sued over it.
Well, look, here's the thing. I was kind of at odds with like Joe. My son Joe was not happy with me because like I was against the Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man animated.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'm the biggest Spider-Man fan there is, right? So, besides Doctor Who being everywhere, Spider-Man is everywhere. Like, besides the Spider-Man towel, the Spider-Man fucking all around me, Spider-Man. I got fucking Spider-Man everywhere, right? So, even here, right? Everywhere I go, Spider-Man. So, like,
I was going to show Spider-Man boxes.
So the thing is that I'm very a stickler for original history. And I understand that people got to take liberties. So when I first saw the trailer, I'm like, why is Norman Osborn black? Why is like this look like Miles Morales stuff? And why is it like the animation look why does the costume look like shit? Why? So when I first saw the first episode, I said, fuck it, I'm gonna watch it anyway. Fuck it. I loved it. I'm like, all right, you know what? Doesn't matter, he's fucking black. I don't care. Doesn't matter, like they changed. All right, so I was like, oh, so he's got completely new friends. Like, there's no Gwen Stacy, there's no Mary Jane, there's no Flash Thompson. There's all these fucking different people, right? So I'm like, okay. Key thing is, in the opening episode, can I spoil it a little bit?
Go ahead.
Doctor Strange battles an alien symbiote that comes through a portal on his high school. There's a spider that comes from the portal that's hanging. You don't know this. You think that he has the powers already. Because like when he opens up the bag, you think he's going to be looking for the suit, but it's his fucking sandwich or whatever, right? So the alien symbiote is going to kill this girl, Nico. So immediately you think, oh shit, Peter Parker goes right to this motherfucker. He's going to fuck this person up, right? He has no fucking powers. But he jumps in front of the girl to protect her. Because technically, he really is, without powers, always destined to be Spider-Man, right? Like, he is a good person.
Yeah.
Without powers, right? You just don't know it, right? So everything gets wrapped up. The spider bites him. So then they go to the music, the theme music. They don't show him first starting off. He's got the suit. He's got this. Stuff is different because he's got an oxygen tank on, which I don't understand what that is. I'm thinking that maybe it's because web swinging throughout the city, he can't breathe. I don't know, right? So I was like, wow, this is 10 out of 10 opening episode. Loved it. Now we get to episode 2. I'm watching episode 2. And episode 2 is like night and day from episode 1, right? I fucking hate it. Like, completely. Why? I can understand. Change this gender. Change this race. Change this gender. Change this race. First episode, Harry is trying to become a woman.
Damn it.
Right? Trying to become a woman, right? But anyway, so episode 2, I'm like, wait a minute. Now the lizard is Carla Connors. She's black. She's hot. And she's not an asshole. So now, wait a minute. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Because I'm a nut with the villains, right? So I'm like, Dr. Kirk Connors was a war hero, right? He was in the military, right? And I know this because I'm a nut, right? And he put a strain on his marriage because what's a strain on the marriage is when you're away from long tours on the military. His marriage is in jeopardy. He has a kid, loses his arm in the thing, uses his intelligence to fucking try to create this thing to regrow his arm.
But turns him into a lizard.
Getting divorced, kid alienation, trying to get visitation, all this shit building in the comic. Even to most recently, past couple years, even if he's divorced, his wife is dying of cancer. He still loves her, even though they're divorced. He's trying to get her to be restored. She dies. Then people gunning for him because he's a lizard and he has a kid. His kid blames him for the mother's death. But all this going on, he's a little bit of an asshole, a little bit nice, right? Is kind of responsible for shit going wrong in his life, right? Being a dick, right? It all makes sense, like with the lizard, right? How could she be a villain ever if she's like an Aunt May niceness? She's hot. And Peter Parker fucking loves the shit out of her as a teacher. She can never be a villain. Like, ever. There's no reason to, right? She's not married. She doesn't have a kid. Like, it's a, wait a minute. You just got it so fucking wrong, right? But then it continues. I'm looking at the thing. They had a party, right? Like, there's not one person at that party. Maybe one. And I'm like, wait a minute. There's no one in the show at all. I'm like, holy shit. So I started to be like, this is a goddamn fucking diversity fucking fest. And it's such a distraction that it's not, you can't enjoy the Spider-Man. So then, shit happens in it. Spider-Man catches this girl. She robbed the pizza parlor. He's like, could you give her a break? And he lets her go. Maybe she becomes something with Black Hat or something. I don't know. But you have now, he gets a job with Norman Osborn. And now, this isn't just Spider-Man anymore. It's the guy that becomes the fucking Chinese Hulk. Amadeus Cho, which is Black Hulk. Then you got this person. So now, you got this chick from Wakanda, right? On an internship. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why would Wakanda, if they have everything advanced on the entire Earth, Why would they want to come to New York to be with stupid people? if they have everything right? That makes no sense, right? So now, wait a minute. Norman's black, so is he from Wakanda too? What the fuck? Like, now it's a whole thing, right? His kid's black, his kid's transgender. So, like, and now he's the mentor to Peter Parker, which I'm like, so now Peter Parker's friend, Nico, is like, why are you going to work for him? He's a fucking asshole. He's a dick. He's evil. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, so when he meets Norman, the spider sense don't go off at all. If he's a dick and he does evil shit, even if he's not the Green Goblin, that's going to go off. It's not going off, period. In fact, I don't even remember when shit was going off. They didn't show it. So I had a massive problem with the second episode. And I said, oh, first one's a 10 and this one's shit. But again, Disney's going in this weird direction. And they're going to need people that's going to, fix it. Now, with Doctor Who, with the ratings, okay. But overall, it's not doing so bad that we think it's going to get canceled. It's making them. At the end of the day, Disney's got to look at this and say, wait a minute. Doctor Who's making us money, right? Mm-hmm. We're not losing money. We're making money. Now, we're not making as much as we want to.
Because it's not one of our original shows.
But what's making them money?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If most of the stuff is not making money, Agatha made money, which I don't understand why they wouldn't know that Agatha would make them money if WandaVision made them tons of fucking money, right? So why wouldn't you think that whole thing with Scarlet Witch, Agatha, Wiccan, Vision would not be their top earners? They should know that already. And even though I was against the Scarlet Witch being a villain, that made fucking that movie. She killed that movie. She was the best thing of that movie, Scarlet Witch. So, of course they're talking about Scarlet Witch movie because it's going to make them money. But they went in an error, Disney, and they're like, let's just make. Years ago, when Scarlett Johansson was on Saturday Night Live, they made fun of Disney, right? And they made it that, her and Ultron had a romance and a TV show, right? Which, guess what? That happened eventually with WandaVision, right? They said Disney could put out a movie called Shopping Cart the Movie about superheroes with shopping carts or something, right? And it would sell. So what happens? Reality sets in. Disney thinks they can make anything of a superhero, and everything would sell. We could do a Black Widow movie. We could do Eternals. We could do fucking Armor Wars. We could do fucking Riri Williams, Ironheart. We could do fucking Young Avengers. We could do, and guess what? Shit's bombing. Okay, and not
well, they bombed inside the freaking when they made them as comic books as well, but they don't want to see that.
That's another thing. They all got canceled. Every single time Ironheart had a comic, she got canceled. Every time Miles Morales had a comic, he got canceled. Every time Ms. Marvel had a comic, she got canceled. And no, it's not because they made a new number one. The ratings were not that great. The comics or sales were not that great where they got to keep them. Because what they tried to do was they tried to go about it the wrong way and say that those characters were better than the originals. And the fan base got pissed off and said, fuck these characters. So they made them hate the new characters because they said, hey guys, they're better than the originals. And people are like, no, they're not. Just like I'm playing Spider-Man 2, right? The video game. I got turned off playing the video game. Why? Because they tried to make it that Miles Morales was better than Peter Parker. And Peter Parker's supposed to be his mentor. And I'm like, here we go. And I saw 1, 2, 3 things, and I'm like, I stopped playing it. Because I got annoyed. Because I'm a nut when it comes to Spider-Man Peter Parker. And I'm like, no, man. That's why it took me forever to beat Miles Morales, because I didn't like it. I didn't like the character. I like Peter Parker Spider-Man. So it isn't because I'm bad in gaming. It's because I can't stand Miles Morales. Like, I didn't until Spider-Verse.
I turned that game off, Joe. The Spider-Man 2. I turned that Spider-Man 2. I bought it. I spent $100 on it. I sat down to play it. I was so excited. The first cutscene in the game, Peter's teaching at a school, and it's the wokest classroom I've ever seen. Like, every student's a different race, and there's transgender posters. It's like, do they not realize that 99% of the population, like, literally do not care about this stuff?
They don't. And that it turned me off. And you know what I'm talking about now. It turned me the fuck off. I'm the biggest Spider-Man fan there is, and I can't even play the goddamn video game. Holy shit. Turned me off. And not only that, but they shit on the Sandman in the fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's like people don't even read. Like, you. First of all, there's no alien rocks that split the Sandman's consciousness into 50 parts. What are you talking about? Sandman don't become 50 different people. There's no armies of Sandman. Like, what are you talking about? What does this have to do with the Venom symbiote? What does this have to do with fucking Kraven the Hunter in the game? This makes no fucking sense. And I'm playing this, I'm like, this is bullshit.
You
and
know,
my son Joe's like, Dad, come on. No, it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah, and you just know that there's going to be some woke nonsense in the Wolverine game.
But that's the thing. It's like, I got turned off. And I'm like, all right, so on, man. And then why do you got to make Mary Jane ugly? Why she got to look like a guy? Why? Like, what the fuck? She's supposed to be a supermodel, hot as fucking actress, and like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You got to make her woke, where she's like man hair, muscular, like fucking.
Because remember what Stan Lee said. This way they can get around and circumvent that whole notion of what Stan Lee said between Peter and Mary Jane.
Yeah.
And he also said that Peter Parker in any reality is not gay. And they tried to pull some shit.
This way they can circumvent.
They're not allowed, even though he's dead. No. They're not allowed to have any iteration of Peter Parker gay in any universe. They would have to be called something else.
Why are they so obsessed with everything being gay? It's such a weird thing to obsess over.
Oh, I don't know. It's like I remember
money.
It's like when I first played the first Spider-Man game. I loved Stan Lee's cameo in it. But then when he passed away, they had to take him out. I'm like, why did you have to take him out? He would have been forever remembered in it.
Because his fucking family is trying to make money.
It's so weird though, if you go back to Spider-Man on PS1, like Spider-Man 1999, the little Easter eggs or references would be to issue number 25, and you'd have a secret issue of the comic hidden on the wall. Now the cameos and Easter eggs are all protect trans kids plastered all over the walls. It's like, what are we doing here?
And all these different suits that don't even belong in Spider-Man. Like some of them.
First of all, Spider-Man animated show should not be about different suits. It should be one fucking suit.
I laughed at that cartoon, that new one. It was just so dumb. Why is there no white people in New York City?
Thank you. But
you do know, and you know what? This is like I said to you before.
I explained to Joe because Joe was I was like, I travel New York and everything, and I'm like, yes, it's part of different races, but they're all white people. It's
try and make up for.
You can't eliminate that. Like, that's come on.
I mean,
do you know what? The more black people in the media, that's great. You know, they weren't treated fairly back in the day, and it's fantastic they're getting opportunities. But I think they're only 12% of the US population. Like, they're not 99% of the population, which is according to Disney these days. It's just so unbelievable. There's so many Asians, Indians that just aren't in movies or TV, but it's you don't see them anywhere. And when they do diversity,
this is what gets me though with Russell T Davis, with people doing videos about Doctor Who, is they think it's just him.
Yeah.
It's Disney. Disney made him put a transgender singer in Church on Ruby Road. That was all new.
This is the problem when one company owns all of your favorite brands, is that all your brands become the same product. That's why Star Wars is the same. They've turned it gay and they've changed the canon. It's the same thing with all the Marvel characters. They try to change the canon, make it gay. It's like the classic South Park meme: put a chick in it, make her lame and gay. And it's we don't have a problem with people being gay or gay people being in media. It's just, why do you have to change every franchise to now represent gay people?
All the women run the universe in Acolyte. Men are stupid, and all the head Jedi are women, right? All of them, right? And the Jedi are evil in the Acolyte. They're all evil. They're scumbags. They said in Acolyte that the witches said
Which is
that
why it's not getting a second season.
the witches said that the Jedi hunted and killed people throughout the universe that didn't comply with their ideology, plus because they were gay. They flat out said they were against lesbians and lesbian witches, and nobody else doing stuff with the Force other than them. And then they turned the guy's soul into like a creepy guy, almost a pedo, like wanting to train this kid that's not even his. And
they wanted to change the canon.
Horrible. And they ruined canon for everything. Yeah. And what happened? They did the worst possible thing at the end. Yoda was in on it. That Yoda is corrupt. Yoda's corrupt. Yeah. Like Yoda is a fucking lying fuck corrupt.
Then they ruined what's the name, didn't they, as well? Star Trek.
They ruined everything. Star Trek's ruined. Star Trek with Discovery, they ruined it.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings is ruined.
Well, in Lower Decks, they at least on their last episode or next last episode, they had set it up to where Discovery was actually supposed to have been some warped out reality.
Yeah, they taken it out of canon. Because here's the thing: like, the whole military thing of Starfleet, the fucking first officers don't disobey their captain.
Yeah,
you don't get promoted. No. You don't get in jail and then get promoted, and then not only you captain of the ship, that your captain got killed by the Klingons and they ate her. First of all, the Klingons don't eat. They made them like vampire, whatever. So they ruined the whole thing with Star Trek with that, because they stole that idea from that guy and then they tried to sue him. And that went away. Then they made it that not only is she the captain, but she's a time traveler and she's changing the whole timeline. Yeah. Not only that, but they made it that she's the savior of the entire universe.
And
the entire Federation, she saves them. Why? Because she is a fucking cutthroat cunt that made her captain die. Like, you just threw everything that Gene Roddenberry created in the toilet. And your Spock sister? No.
It's like I'm J.K. Rowling. She doesn't agree with being a woke, but then there was this Harry Potter series that's coming out which HBO is making. They made Snape black. Like what?
Yeah, okay. I mean, like she made Dumbledore gay, and that like people are like what? All I know is that
chill out.
I'm sorry. This is why Russ. Say we got to say Hayden.
I think we all just need to chill out, and it's like if you want to tell a story about a science fiction, with a trans lead, make a new franchise. We don't have to just always change old characters.
Everybody's been saying, but they don't want to because they want to destroy the old canon so they can put their horse shit in.
But again, it's just but if it's a good character and you need to change up its identity, it does work. Like John Stewart is a Green Lantern. That's great, and.
But that's just it. They created a whole new character instead of going back and going, okay, we didn't like it here, so we're going to change this character here.
Exactly. It's like Doctor Who. We enjoyed Maestro, didn't we?
Oh, I love the Maestro.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
I hated it.
Really?
I hated it.
Wow.
I thought it was so cartoonish. It was just ridiculous.
Did you like Neil Patrick Harris and the Giggle?
To a degree. I liked the opening scenes where he was in that little toy shop, things like that. I thought by the end it got a little ridiculous where he was with the gun and he was like, "You must play the game, Doctor." It was just like, oh, this is a bit much.
Shooting ducks. The companion, the orphan.
The best villain last season was the girl from Dot and Bubble. That was the best character.
That, I got to tell you, that was his first thing filmed as a doctor, and he nailed it. Like, I was so on board with that. I thought I was going to hate that episode. I thought I was going to hate that.
He was in that. He was an A-star.
That solidified him.
Especially when she was like, "I don't care," like, and then she just left, like, "Fuck it," like.
I was like, "Oh, he's the doctor, man."
See, that's the thing with the quote unquote the message, with the whole racism thing. But it kind of worked so well. It was a really powerful episode of TV. And if that was just the outlier in the season and there was no other preaching, amazing. That's how you do it. You do little bits of messaging here and there just to put ideas out there for people to have a think about. It's not every week over the head, just constantly.
But the thing that's even better is that character, you could see her as Madame Kaveri.
You can see that.
You could see her, all her friends dying in front of her, her running for shelter, going with the church, trying to destroy the doctor because he should have saved her anyway.
Yeah.
Like that is the villain you just created. She's already a villain, but that is, if you didn't know, she could be the biggest fucking
But I
villain
thought
ever.
Madame Kavarian was a good guy in the end, just helping the 11th Doctor.
No, she wasn't. Madame Kavarian was pure villain.
I thought he hired her.
No. Missy was technically all throughout the 11 Doctor's era helping him for some reason. Not Madame Kavarian. Missy introduced him to Clara.
Oh, she was the woman in the shop, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madame Kavarian wanted revenge and tried to destroy his entire timeline.
And see, that's a good example. I think Missy does work as a female master.
Yeah.
I think it works. And I think Missy should have been the last master. I think Sacha Dhawan should have been after Sim. Because it just makes sense of how mad he was, that it should have been Sim going even further into madness, that you would then have Sacha Dhawan.
But you see, you got to think of it this way, though. He never went back for her. So she would get all that rage while she regenerated and become Sacha Dhawan. Pissed off.
Yeah.
Pissed off. She was going to become good for him.
Yeah.
He fucked her. He left her. Right? Now, okay, so he regenerated. He didn't know what the fuck was happening, but come on now.
It's like Nardo was there, no?
Well, that's another thing. Moffat did if you missed it, he did a mini-sode that Nardo was still battling the Cybermen, and Bill was back on Earth normal, back and forth between Heather and whatever, like the puddle monster, and Nardo was being alive, and they were just talking. So that was like an episode. That was like a thing, But
that was a good season. Season 10, loved it. You know that. It was a great season.
Yeah.
I even liked that episode with
the two masters was the greatest though.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Because you know what it was? It was so interesting to me, him without the drums in his head.
Yeah.
Because without the drums in his head, he's so much more of a threat for the Doctor, honestly.
And he had a goatee.
And he's calm, and he's thinking it out.
He had a goatee, yeah.
And he looked like the Master.
This is why, because I know Russell had dinner with Sacha Dhawan. This is why they need to do that special that I said, where Sacha Dhawan shows up at fucking the Doctor's house, Master, and he's like, "Oh, you're revisiting old faces? I'm gonna do it too," and then becomes Johnson. Boom. Christmas special, fucking just with David Tennant and Donna Noble and Johnson bickering back and forth at each other, and him trying to do him dressing as Santa, fucking telling kids fuck off.
Do you not think they would do a special with Joe Martin, Ncuti Gatwa, David Tennant, and then Missy, John Sim, and Sacha Dhawan against each other?
I think that I'm going to say if, because it's not, but hypothetically speaking, if a Doctor Who season was in jeopardy, there was always plans in place to make specials if a season was in jeopardy. And David Tennant's on the payroll, and so is Catherine Tate still. And if something happens, they can film. I'm just putting it out there. If they are under contract, if something happens, they can film. So if something happened and they could film. Now, if it was me, and if I was the showrunner and I found out that Disney is not approving a season, and if there wasn't anything filmed, which there was a Christmas special, by the way, but if there wasn't, I would be having them film a Christmas special at least. Because the thing is, so let's just say now, right? Let's just say that there is no Christmas special film, even though there is, and I know there is, right? I would think the most important thing to do would be, all right, if we can't film a season, we got to have something out of Doctor Who at Christmas, knowing that we may not have a season next year. I would think that would be of the utmost importance.
Yeah.
Also, it would mean that there wouldn't be a less of a time of a gap because you just saw Doctor Who at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't see Doctor Who in January, well, you just saw Doctor Who less than a couple weeks ago. So that's why the Christmas special. Russell had made a thing that the Christmas special is more important than the season in a way.
And it gets more views.
So why would you all of a sudden treat that as not the case?
See, this is
yeah.
That whole issue with the Jodie Whittaker initially becoming the female doctor. This is how.
Well, Chibnall was against Christmas specials, by the way. So
Yeah, but the way I looked at it is this: is if they had just tested the waters where you thought that the doctor had regenerated, and then found out that the supposed new doctor was actually a different Time Lord altogether, they could have spun her off. They could have had and then that way, when either show was on hiatus for filming, the other one would be having taken its place. And
yes, Matthew, I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest problem you have when you start changing the Doctor's race and gender is that when it comes to the next Doctor, they're always going to think in their heads, okay, it's been too long since we've had a woman, so we have to cast another woman. And then every time it's like, oh, we need to change the color up every now and then of the Doctor's skin because we've had too many whites in a row, or we've had too many black guys in a row. And it just gets so confusing where it's like, just leave it as it was. It's so easy, and you don't have to worry about discriminating ever. That's who he is.
The problem with the Chibnall era is Chris Chibnall interfered with her acting ability as the Doctor.
Oh, God, he did.
He said to her, she is not allowed to watch Doctor Who.
Mm.
That was one. The answer to that was, we found out from our show, her brother
Damn it.
sent her all the criticism, all the podcasts, all the videos. She took it upon herself to say, that was wrong that Chris Chibnall ordered me to do that. So in an interview, she said, well, I'm off now with my family, and we're going to stay in New York for, I guess, a couple of months. And she says, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm allowed to do what I want on my vacation, and I'm going to binge watch Doctor Who as much as possible. And if I need to know anything about episodes, I'm going to contact David Tennant, whoever. So when you saw her return, she was different because she watched the episode.
When did this happen?
After the first season.
So season 2, she was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she had the knowledge of what happened. So that when she was saying shit happening, she knew what happened because you saw it. So when she encountered fucking Sasha Dewan's master, and she was fucking saying how she was pissed that she fell off the thing in Legopolis because you're a dick. He admits, yeah, that was fucked up. But, like, she was angry. Like, because that was her favorite incarnation as the Fourth Doctor, right? So, but also, think about it. Chris Chibnall used his life as the basis for Doctor Who. Supposedly, can't confirm this, but supposedly he was raised by all women. And I guess hates men. Okay? Or whatever. Also, anytime men appeared, they were stupid, or they were like Donald Trump, or whatever. Right? Also, he tried to do...
It makes sense that you're saying, Joe, sorry to interject. It makes sense if you've seen Broadchurch that all the men are rapists, serial killers, or just bad drunks.
Right.
Yes.
So all the episodes in season 1 had nothing to do with the villains. So now when they finish season 1, he's seeing all this shit and people are fucking pissed. Right? So what does he do? He throws the fucking Daleks in there. And then it's like, oh shit, I do need to bring everybody back. And then the Master appears, the Cybermen appear, and then it's completely different in a way. Weeping Angels are fucking appearing. I mean, and it was, even though he was a nut, he created Joe Martin's Doctor because he was mad at fucking Jodie Whittaker singing the fucking song Yellow and wanted to upstage her. He wanted to upstage her.
Oh man, I love that version.
But when he was pissed off, he wrote the best shit. He created.
Why did he get mad at that?
She said something beyond out of his control.
So when she did Yellow, she said that her cast members was against her doing it. Now, she also no. It is to a point. She also did the same segment but these cast members, Bradley Walsh, Mandip Gill, the other guy, right? All for it. So the only cast member that was against it was Chibnall. Now, they were supposed to do a trailer. Chibnall refused to promote Doctor Who with her fucking singing the song. Refused.
Well, but what was so controversial about her singing the song?
Chibnall was mad that when they're off from Doctor Who, they're allowed to do whatever they want. But Chibnall took it personal that she can't do anything but Doctor Who. And she can't get famous doing anything for Doctor Who while on holiday, which is complete bullshit. So,
but wouldn't that help Doctor Who's ratings if she was more famous?
He's a nut, and he thought no. So he was against. He pulled the Doctor Who trailer from Children in Need. He refused to do anything about it. So he was a nut. Now, also, everybody wanted to make toy lines, and he's like, "Why are you coming to me for?" Because everything he did was always low key. He didn't want the attention. It was like he was getting panic attacks. I don't want Funko Pops, really. I don't want action figures, really. I don't want blind box. So now all these companies are going to go out of business because they need to make new lines. Now they got to hire some other TV show. So he was the one that was responsible for hardly any merchandise for Doctor Who. He was responsible for the merchandise you did get said her universe. And it's like, fuck the guy. Fuck the guy. Fuck the guy. Fuck all the men fans. It's her universe. He did the trailer, break the glass ceiling. He did the thing, we stand with fucking female president. Everything. Ridiculous. And it fell on his fucking face. Because now, not even the women bought her universe. I told you. I bought the fucking, this shit. Where is it? Oh. Where's my fucking son? Oh. My sonic screwdriver's missing. What the fuck? Gone?
The Mandela effect. You never bought it.
Don't even get me. Don't even get
Peter Parker sold it.
My fucking son. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. There's another call. Okay. Don't get me started on Mandela thing because I got a story to tell you, but you're not gonna believe it. But whatever.
Well, you can tell me on my car.
No, I don't really want to. I'm kind of.
It's the second worst sonic screwdriver.
I know. So that was They almost gave that away. They almost gave that away. It was almost free, that shit, to buy.
It's funny how when Jodie took over, because Doctor Who's huge in nerd merchandise and nerd fandom culture, and they turned it into some weird BBC drama with nothing that you could even sell from the show.
Well, if you think about it, we've not had a Doctor Who video game for years.
I know.
We had one with Jodie Whittaker though, didn't we?
And David Tennant.
That wasn't really took off.
No, but it was Jodie Whittaker and David Tennant.
I kind of liked that one. It was all right.
Not just Jodie Whittaker. It was Jodie Whittaker and David Tennant.
And they had that, like that 2048 with the blocks. They had the 13 where you try to match all the doctors to build to the 13th. That was all right. I thought Flux was like a step in the right direction. Like
I gotta tell you, I liked the villain that he generated.
That was very good.
Dick.
Yeah.
But I thought it was hysterical how they think she's stupid, and they all tried to make her open the fob watch, and she's like, nah.
Yeah.
Because that would erase her memory immediately.
Flux is weird. It's weird to explain, but Flux sort of feels like it's a part of the classic series. Do you know what I mean? It feels more like the classic series than the revival series.
But he fucked it up because he said that the whole universe was destroyed and there was only 2 planets left. And then after the Dalek special, the whole universe was restored.
Yeah.
Completely. And then the alien was like the timeless child.
In the centenary episode.
Yeah.
It didn't go anywhere, though, did it?
Well, you're like, well, wait a minute. Is that garbage now? The Thomas Child thing's over? Because it's like you made it that alien was the Thomas Child.
So I thought, just to harken back to what you said before, I thought that this Mrs. Flood is Anita from the Christmas special when she's older.
I actually think no. I think Moffat said she's a one-off character, so she was not meant to be explored. I honestly thought that Anita has like Time Lord dementia, and when she's in her faculty, she's Rassilon. Because Rassilon was off Earth. Rassilon was off. The Peter Capaldi's doctor, 12th Doctor, ordered Rassilon and the High Council off Gallifrey. So Gallifrey gets destroyed by the Master. Rassilon's an old bitch on fucking Earth and is maybe messed up in the brain from the giggle or from the gods. And is just a creep. Is really
are you saying Mrs. Flood or Anita?
I say Mrs. Flood is a Rassilon.
Mrs. Flood, yeah.
I was saying I'm on suspicion she might be River that somehow got out.
Oh, she's evil. River's not evil. No, she's evil. And Mrs. Flood is evil. Yeah. You know what? The thing is, I have been saying that I wanted a Earthshock episode. But when I say Earthshock, meaning they don't reverse it.
Yeah.
Right?
Like a permanent consequence.
But I from what we're hearing and rumors, I don't want Ruby Sunday to be killed like that.
What's the whole thing that you've mentioned about that at the end of season 2, the Doctor leaves Earth because something so bad happens?
Okay, so her boyfriend is anti-unit.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend believes that this is not known. Whatever. Her boyfriend is trying to destroy unit in society and tell everybody that unit is evil. Doesn't know, I guess, that Ruby works for unit. I don't know if the Joe Martin Fugitive Doctor is connected with this, but something goes wrong with time, and the Doctor is missing in action, maybe for a Dr. Light episode, and he does appear, I guess, as John Smith, but he's wearing like this raggedy fucking outfit. I don't know exactly how it turns out, but supposedly the finale of season 2 has to do with Ruby dying. And the Doctor supposedly, I guess whatever happened, he defeated whatever, didn't know. I guess Kate has to tell him. He finds out, and he flips the fuck out. I'm not talking crying. I'm talking pure fucking anger. And he is mad at Unit. He is mad at the Earth. And he runs off and basically makes it known he don't give a fuck anymore. Now, shit goes wrong. The Sea Devils attack. They call him, and he doesn't answer. It's like that.
And so, is this related to this? So, what's this Christmas special? The Claws of the Spider or something?
Well, again, we're not really sure with the spinoff what takes place. There was a rumor that Martha Jones is involved with the Sea Devils. There was a rumor that maybe the Sea Devils kill her husband, Mickey. And then she's involved in it, and then the 14th Doctor rescues her at the end. But for whatever reason, the Doctor's so fucked up because of this supposed thing with Ruby Sunday. Again, take it with a grain of salt. It's rumor. that the Christmas special sort of is like his snowman episode. That he has to encounter someone, a new companion, or a new uncharted area to explore that he never explored before. That's supposed to bounce him back into reality. And by the end of the episode, he's 100% the Doctor. I'm sorry, unit, whatever, and he's back to normal.
I've got it. It will be Susan Foreman that bounces him back to reality.
Well, it's possible.
It makes sense.
Now, the episode is supposed to be like an Alice in Wonderland type. But it could be from the perspective of the gods of whatever, that it's sort of like that. It could be the toy maker involved. It could be the maestro involved. It could be all the stuff involved. It could be the musical, because there was a rumor that we're going to get a musical episode.
Oh, no.
So I don't know. The thing is, I don't know what episode the musical episode is. But Russell had supposedly got Murray Gold to make the whole fucking episode musical, and they're singing the whole episode. It could be because of the gods that make them sing, like maybe Harbinger made Doctor and Ruby sing at the end. But it's supposed to be the entire episode. Now, I don't know if it's the Christmas special. The thing is, it could be the Christmas special, but the Christmas special is the Alice in Wonderland type that we've said for months and months and months, way before people mentioned it on Gallifrey Base. And again, we don't go on Gallifrey Base. We're not members on Gallifrey Base. I don't sign on Gallifrey Base. We're beyond the Gallifrey Base. We're above the Gallifrey Base. So, whatever. It is what it is. What?
So there you go. We've just predicted the whole story. And but what's the thing about they're saying that it's being left open so they can regenerate Shooty if they need to at the end of season 2? No,
that's not. That's not. No. Supposedly, the Christmas special of 2026, not 2025, is where he regenerates.
So he's definitely doing series 3.
He's definitely doing well. Okay, so the only thing that I'm told and I know was that they filmed the Christmas special already, 2025. He's under contract to do season 3 and the Christmas special. And the Christmas special, if he doesn't accept the deal, would be his final performance in 2026. Something has occurred past couple of days that I can't talk about. That's not good. That I have to talk to Marty about because I have to see. But again, he's on the contract to film season 3. And again, this whole bullshit about, I don't know what Disney's fucking doing, but they were supposed to film. I mean, they did film something in January. I don't know what it was. And Shooty's supposed to be back on duty February to film. So everything happened the way I said it. They did film stuff in January, and Shooty's back in February. So I don't know what for the life of me, I don't understand why Disney would want to create dissension. They have the power to basically reveal everything to where Doctor Who's okay, and they would go against the dissension. They would go against every single YouTuber that said they were canceled. They have the power in their hand to stop that. But also, it goes to the thing of any publicity is good publicity. So Russell is using all these people that are doing cancel videos to boost Doctor Who's popularity. Even though it's negative. So.
Surely you need to go to bed at some point.
Oh, no. I don't sleep now. I sleep in the day.
You don't sleep ever?
No, I do sleep, but I don't sleep now. I sleep in the...
Okay.
Yeah, no, I usually, my gaming begins during the wee hours of the morning.
Ray's got some videos to make. I haven't seen an Asmongold upload for hours.
I don't even think he knows what Asmongold is.
I do.
Surely.
Oh, you do? Oh, well.
He's very famous.
It's just so funny how we get together, right? We talk about Doctor Who for decades, whatever, or whatever amount of years it is. What, 13 years, 14 years?
Hmm.
And there are people that just. Am I always going to have an enemy? Am I always going to have an adversary?
I don't know. Your Twitter rants, they're addictive.
You know, they contacted me. This is the weird thing, right? They're like, oh, if you paid for membership again, they're like, do you know that 25,000 people just saw your stuff the past week? And I'm like, what? 25,000? And I'm like, oh, okay.
I think you wrote 24,000 tweets, though.
You know, it's so weird. People were interested in me just talking about my fucking life.
Yeah, that was interesting. You talking about your dad. You were the last Capriccioso, all this sort of stuff.
I was having a discussion with my sister about that. And because I called her and I had questions. Because you have to think, like, I'm looking, now my birthday is soon, so this is why this is occurring, right? I'm looking at my childhood, my brain of 50 years old, right? And of course, being a dad too, so I'm like, why the fuck was I raised that way? I was like, wait a minute. I was 4 fucking years old, right? I'm like, why the fuck are you telling me that, like, I need to have children? I need to have this. I need to have that. I need to go into politics. I need to do this. I'm fucking 4.
I mean, was your dad Italian?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That you have a destiny in Italy.
No, okay, so this is the thing, and people were just fascinated with the story. They're like, and I it's hysterical to me because it's like a movie, but it's not, right? So my father visited the Pope regularly in the Vatican, right? I'm like, why? Right? Now, my grandmother.
Blessing for you.
My grandmother and grandfather had money. My grandfather was a boxing champion and owned a bakery, and my grandmother, you know, they had properties and they had money. So I guess it would be easy for my father to travel all around because the money was there. But my dad was also in Vietnam, and then somehow he got out of it, which was unheard of. I found that. I was talking to my sister about that, and I was like, I don't understand how that occurs unless there's whatever. But it wasn't. It was he was in it, and then he got out of it, which is unheard of. He was in it, but not the whole time, but he got out of it because I would have never been born. And you're in it, you know, like you're not gonna have a kid with your wife because you're gonna be dead and be like, so he worked for a newspaper. He was a writer. He interviewed people. He was a photographer. He did all these things for the newspaper. He interviewed celebrities. My mother was a poet, a writer, and a secretary. Besides being a saint, like being purely holy and good. My dad was a professional dancer with my mother. They had trophies. My father was a professional pool player. My dad was an artist and could draw comic book characters and everything, and I could never do that.
Was your dad kind of that type of guy that just knew everyone when you would leave the house?
Yeah.
And he would have circles of friends
my father knew everybody in Staten Island, and my father also knew the people that Italians would know, basically.
He knew everyone's business, basically.
So that was the weird thing is that I was treated like royalty, which was weird, and my sister was kind of treated like shit. Like, oh, you're just a girl. Fuck you. Like, whatever. It was like crazy. Like, not that, I mean, my parents treated my sister right, but it was just not fair, not cool. And I can understand, you know, maybe why she would not like me for like a long time. But it was like, you're the last of your kind. You know, you have to have children. Right? You know, you have to have this, right? You need to be rich, and you need to be famous, and you need to do this. You need to be the president. You were born on President's Day. You were born on Lincoln's birthday. You need to get into politics. So all this stuff was happening, and I was young, and I didn't understand anything. I didn't understand what money was. I didn't understand, like, especially like when, okay, I was coming into my own thoughts and they got me involved with the church, like, and it was like a heavy thing. Like, okay, I mean, look, it's really fun hearing about my ancestors being so involved with the church, almost like they were the Knights of the Crusade and defending fucking the church, like you fighting the vampires and shit. Not that you are, but like it was really nice hearing that, and then it kind of makes sense why that would continue and why my father would regularly visit the Pope. But the interesting thing with that is that the church wanted me to be a brother and then a priest at one point. And my fault that went against the plan of me having children and whatever. I went to church every Sunday. I went to religious instructions. It was always to do throughout the week. So yeah, I would become a priest. Like I'm like learning, right? So like my father didn't want that. My father had these rules. My father was like, I'm in the military, so you can never be. So when in high school, Air Force tried to recruit me and I signed the paper, my father flipped out and that was the end of the paper. My father also didn't want me to be a cop, and I wanted to be a cop because I read comic books and I'm like, I want to do this. I want to fight crime and all that. So he had to get my uncle, who was my godfather, which is best friend, who caught the son of Sam Keller. He was one of the cops that caught the son of Sam Keller. So he was an idol of mine because he caught a big killer. And I'm like, oh, I definitely want to be a cop. So he had to sit me down and talk to me, saying how this is not what I should do, and the life of a police officer is not good, and different things happen. So that was the end of that. And then, so it was, don't be in the military, don't be a cop, and don't be connected to mafia. Those are the three things.
And why you should go. And why you should go into politics.
My grandmother wanted me into politics heavy. So I don't really know what the thing was with politics with them, but I know that they had a lot of rich friends. So this is why I was trying to figure out this person that that was my father's enemy, that they kept wanting me to know and get to know, and how that my life would shape when I get older. I kind of don't know for sure what the fuck that was about, but I do know that I believe it's the fact that my grandmother was worried about losing her fortune when she died, and was sort of trying to plant the family connecting ties with the rich, with certain individuals, and would push me in the direction of being into politics, would push other members of the family being whatever. And my father was against it 100%. Ultimately, I got annoyed as I grew up, and I didn't want to be there. And I really, you have to understand something. If your father is your idol, and your grandmother is taking you to someone who despises your father and basically announces to you that he hates your father, and I have to, when I get to be an adult, follow this guy's footsteps and totally abandon my father, I'm going to be against that person because I love my father. So I'm going to be like, fuck you. Like, really. So I was like, I want you to stop taking me. I don't care if the guy's got a mansion. I don't care if I don't want, like, my dad's great. Like, fuck off. Like, that was the whole thing. So that was the end of that. Just like the whole thing with the church. The moment the church was getting involved, my father was like, man, it's church. And that was the end of that, with the whole Pope and shit and all that other stuff. So, like, you know, ultimately, it's just weird shit when I was growing up, you know, and it is good certain things because, like, with my grandfather, he was a boxing champion, so he made me watch everything boxing. So I liked it, but I didn't want to be a boxer, but I liked it. And that's why I always watched Mike Tyson, and I always watched all that stuff growing up, you know, and Foreman and all that. So I know, Sky, you're getting tired. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So yeah, I don't know how this turned into my personal life too, but anyway, yeah. So that was I was just posting and trying. So I did find something out about myself that was a mystery through, I guess, Twitter therapy. I have I shouldn't say this because then my enemy's going to use this. I'm not going to say it. I'll tell you off here. How about that? All right. Thank you guys. We're out of here. Take care. Bye for now.